Welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, the climate of Orlando, Florida, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I'm Mr. Jason Roskam. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave. What are you doing over there?
Hello, Jason.
What's
I was trying to get something done before we started, and I'm still trying to do it. So
okay.
I'm only mildly distracted.
Yeah. Mildly.
It's look, we're recording on a Saturday. All right.
Yes.
We're recording on a Saturday. There's extra body in here. I'm all fucked up.
And as you mentioned, we have a special guest here on the show.
That's
Old
right.
friend of the show.
That's right.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Yeah. So in fact, I actually went back into the archives. The last time that I can tell that you were on the show was our 12th episode when we talked about Spaceballs. If you remember that one.
Yeah.
It was the Spaceballs episode?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be what, 5 years ago? Six years
Well,
ago?
yeah,
Almost.
our 6-year anniversary is coming up this week, so yeah.
Good God.
Almost 6.
So many things were different back then.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a different world. Very different world.
We were trying to figure out where we actually we don't think we were actually doing this. We definitely weren't doing it live on YouTube like this.
No.
Like
I don't think we were doing video during that time.
because we had like the Google.
No, you guys didn't have video.
Yeah.
Because I think we went for this. We went to the Google Meetup thing or Google Hookup or Tinder or whatever the fuck we were doing. Like I don't know.
We swipe right for host.
Right, yeah.
Or OnlyFans. Oh man, if only we had done OnlyFans back then. We would have been early adopters.
What would we have done?
I don't know. Did
Like,
OnlyFans
pictures of our butthole or what?
Did OnlyFans exist in 2017?
I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't either. Interesting. Is that a Rule 34 thing?
Oh my
Is it
god.
Rule 30?
let's not get off on that already. So anyway, our good friend Bob is here with us. Hello, Bob.
Hi, is this a rule I need to know?
Probably not.
I didn't know anything about it until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
so.
fine.
definitely
All right.
don't Google it on a work computer or with anybody else around.
Got it.
Definitely don't do Google Rule 34. What did we do last week? It was Din Djarin.
Din Djarin and Bo-Katan.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna Google it. Don't worry about that. I'm good.
Very good. So, shit, what are we talking about today, Dave?
There's a whole bunch of shit in here. I'm not even sure. I don't even have the right notes open, do I? Oh, I do. I do have the right notes.
The notes say intro special guest. So we got past that part.
Okay,
Now
yep.
you're supposed to talk about Patreon and Red 5.
Oh,
No. It's
I
we're
have
talking. All right. So listen,
see, we're off our flow.
the three of us and Jason and our wives, we went and saw Return of the Jedi.
In theaters.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday. Yeah. I'm trying to think when we fucking did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we did that yesterday. So we're going to talk about that, obviously, because
Yeah.
that was fucking awesome.
Yep.
Spoiler alert. And these guys are going to fucking Galactic Starcruiser.
That's right.
So we're gonna hear all about their fucking prep for their adventure coming up here for somebody's birthday.
Yep.
And they're going to be celebrating our 6-year anniversary in the land that fucking Disney built.
Yeah,
So
because our anniversary is on May the 4th, because we started May the 4th, 2017.
I'm sorry to take him away from you.
it's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
I'll have other shit to do that day.
Okay, got it.
That's it. Trust me, I'll be all right.
This really is a long marriage.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not even upset that you're leaving.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, no, go ahead. Go TDY. It's
Yeah,
fine. I
do
need
whatever
you
you
out
want.
of the house for a while. Just
Yeah.
fucking go.
He's just got other people he'll do podcasts with. And it's all right. It's all
I don't
good.
have time for that shit. I don't have time for other relationships. Christ.
Yeah. All right. So should we talk about Patreon real quick?
You should talk about Patreon.
All right. Well, I want to point out for anybody who's watching us on the YouTube right now, Dave is using his brand new microphone
Yes.
funded by you, our patrons, and all of our Patreon supporters, including Catherine Rennick, Dragon Buddy, David Schmuck, Frederick Martin, Steve Long, Shotgun Mark, General Shinobi, Nicholas Schaefer, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Wally Frogmore, Nick from Swede Studios, Scott and Kim from Used and Abused, Frank Kalevich, Kristen Roskam, Don Solsky, Lord Helmet Fire, Ivo G, and our latest patrons, Kathy and Janine Vickers. I don't know why I can't talk today.
Did she put it out of order again?
I think so. I think she mixed up the order again. Kristen writes my Patreon reads, and she
Oh.
swaps the names all the time. So
just-
I can never get
Just
used
to fuck with them.
David Schmuck. That is a name that I've not heard in a long
Yeah.
time.
Yes, yeah, he's a
Long time.
long-time listener of mine and our old show, because we forgot to mention that we were doing the Magic podcast
Oh,
together
yeah, that's
years
right.
ago.
Yep.
So, and that's where we picked up old David Schmuck. Anywho, if you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Sidebar Cantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this. Back to you, Dave.
Yeah, and Carly, yes, you did get a shout out. He just gave you the shout out at the end of this.
Yeah, Carly and Janine Vickers.
Yes.
Where I couldn't say Janine for whatever reason.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
And as I showed Jason in the beginning or prior to your arrival, Lord Helmet Fire is progressing well. He's actually he's moving out of the ICU into his own room, which is awesome.
All right.
Great.
Very good.
I'm going to be in the building next week, so hopefully he'll be good for visitors. So I'll stop in and see his fucking magnificent scar like this long fucking in person. So
Yeah.
Did he get cut by a lightsaber?
it looks like it.
Yeah.
Like no shit looks like it.
Yeah, straight groin to sternum. Dave showed me the picture of the scar.
He got
Yeah.
tauntauned, huh?
Yeah.
It was he had pancreatic cancer that they were able to go in and get. So
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, that's
So-
usually pretty major. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that they were able to get it is
Yep.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's recovering from that. So keep pouring out those positive vibes for the Vickers clan, and thanks for tuning in, Carly.
All right. Very good. And you got anything for Red 5?
Do I have anything for Red 5?
Red 5 is the network of podcasts that we're a part of.
Oh, nice.
It's a bunch
No.
of other friendly Star Wars centric podcasts for the most part.
It's a Star Wars reference for the ensign, right?
Indeed.
Got
yes.
it. Okay. Yep. Tracking.
I do not.
Okay. No notes for the Red 5. Moving on.
Not till later, anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, as you mentioned, this coming week is our 6-year anniversary of the podcast, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Good God.
yeah.
Yeah.
6 years.
I was in my early 30s.
And here you are about to turn 40.
Ugh. Yeah.
And, it's funny too, because I'll always think that The Last Jedi hadn't come out yet. So we had so much hope in our eyes.
I was about to ask what was out when you guys started this
'Cause-
and I came on.
Yeah, it was 2017. And we were, we had Last Jedi coming at the end of that year, but,
Yeah.
we were so ignorant.
Yeah, so if you go to our YouTube channel, one of our early videos is us sitting on the couch that used to be here, which he threw me off with by taking away today. And he had a TV over here. He has entertainment center, his Xbox and shit was here before the fucking wall of the sacred pops.
And
The sacred Jedi pops.
So many pops.
so many pops. And we sat there and watched our reaction to fucking Last Jedi trailer.
yeah,
And we were so innocent.
yeah.
Just
We're like,
so,
oh, it looks so good.
yeah, we were
This
so
is what happens when you switch switch directors and
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just have them make a completely different movie. That
you know, I will admit that I think I've seen it once in the theaters, once when it came out,
On video?
on video.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've watched it through since. Have you? Does it get any better?
I don't
Does
watch it start to
age?
finish. I refuse to watch it start to finish, but there are certain scenes in it that I really did enjoy and that I will watch again. Most of the stuff with Rey and Kylo Ren, Rey and Snoke, a little bit of Rey and Luke, though I don't like, angry hermit Luke sipping off the tit of some
Yeah.
weird creature.
Yeah, it's just disjointed.
Yeah.
There's stories in there that don't go anywhere that could have gone somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
There's
The whole Canto Bite thing.
that's
yeah, I mean,
all
it's-
of it. That
it's just disjointed.
so I saw it. I saw it in a theater, right when we saw it. Then I think I saw it when it initially came out. I read the book because somebody told me that there was some explanations in the book.
I've heard this.
Yeah, and why am I getting yelled at by my wife? What is happening right now?
I don't hear anything.
Is your wife here in the room with us right now?
I'm getting this pop up from a text on my iPad. And it just completely threw off my fucking train of thought. Thank God for truncated silence.
So you saw it in the theater.
Saw it in the theater.
And you read the book.
I read the book, and then I saw it. I saw it a third time when we were doing the pod for it, like, and we broke it down a little bit more. So I've seen it at least
3.
3 times, at least 3 times. All right, so
Is she calling you?
no. So what happened was Jason, instead of saying Carly Vickers, you said Kathy.
Oh.
And so
Did somebody already go back and rewatch the tape? And...
no, so that she called you out early in this, and then now,
But she felt that she didn't get your attention enough.
right,
Right,
right.
so
So
Sending text
so
messages.
so now my wife was backing her up and has now, hang on,
now gotten our attention.
I want to see how many like times exclamation point. All right, so
All right, I apologize, Carly. I
Yes.
misread the thing, but it's because Bob's here. It's like I'm all distracted.
we're not on a Monday. This is a not Monday show.
I don't understand why that. You know what? Never mind.
Just go with it.
Yeah,
It's-
sure.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right.
My wife's name is Kathy. That has
right.
nothing to do with it either.
I know.
But
I know. I met her yesterday.
But I don't know why that has anything to do with it, but
Oh my God.
it doesn't.
We're so disjointed already.
What were we
Speaking
talking
of
about?
Disjointed. So Last Jedi was disjointed.
Yes.
Yes. It's the fucking Last Jedi's fault. It's we
like
started
that
talking
better.
about Last Jedi.
I like that better.
It's all
Yeah,
fucking.
Last Jedi, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
When it comes to messing shit up.
Fucking talk about something else.
All
Jesus
right,
Christ.
so we'll move on from the anniversary, but we do want to mention that we will not be recording next week
Right.
for our anniversary, as I will be in parts unknown with Bob and
Yes, you'll be in the promised land.
yes.
Yeah, very cool. But yeah, 6 years. We're like, when am I gonna make that announcement?
You have an announcement?
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember?
for the get together. All right, save that for later.
All right.
All right, so
Thank
We'll
God
save it for the
editing.
end.
yes. All right.
All right, I'll save it for the end.
Before we went live, we had mentioned, or we were talking about Jedi Survivor. So I know the two of you have both acquired and started playing the game.
Yes.
So initial thoughts?
Bob.
I played Fallen Order all the way through several times. Completed everything, got most of the achievements off of it because I just like the game so much. I kept going back and doing stuff with it. I don't know how far I am through it, but it seems a little harder than the original game. But all of the things that made me like Fallen Order are still there. And what I really like is you start with most of the abilities you get from the last game.
Yeah.
You start with pretty much most of the main stuff that you would use. And then what they did with the storyline, at least so far in the beginning, is super interesting. You know, Cal, when you look at his story arc, you know, he goes, the Fallen Order is all about a bunch of trauma that he's gotten getting through that to re-access the Force. And part of me was really concerned at the end of that because he starts, you know, he becomes a Jedi Knight. And I'm thinking, oh man, is Cal going to be a Boy Scout now? Because... and we can go into this later, I guess, but if we want to, but like, because I've been reading the Old Republic books and I don't need any more Boy Scouts. I get enough out of those books. Good God. But when this opens, he's working for Saul Guerrera. I was like, all right, because Saul Guerrera's story arc and the people that surround him are one of my favorite parts about Star Wars. I'm a big Rogue Squadron fan, Rogue One fan. I thought that movie was great for a whole lot of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and this is also what I think makes Andor really cool. Once you get to the rebellion in like A New Hope, it's like scrappy, plucky heroes taking down evil empire.
Right.
But all of the stuff that gets them to that fleet is like, yeah, nobody's hands are clean in this, guys. This is war. Like, you know, people die. People have to do underhanded stuff. By the way, nothing's as black and white as episodes 4, 5, and 6. You know, and Saul Guerrera, and then, you know, some of the stuff that happens in Andor are very much a very good example of that.
Yeah.
So having Cal work for him, I thought made it really interesting. I was interested. I'm like, I wonder where this story's going now.
Yeah.
And then, just to, I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but if you haven't played the game yet and you're going to, you can certainly just close your ears. But very early on, you fight the ninth sister in the game, which you fought in the original game, and Cal ends up, killing her. And I thought, okay, he's working for Saul Guerrera. He's going to get angry now. He's going to kill her, and you're going to see all this emotion, but he doesn't. It's a very, there's depth to the character is what I mean. There's push and pull with him. He's got, there's definitely, he's a young guy, probably, I guess he's supposed to be in his early 20s at this point, or mid 20s. He's in the middle of a war. He's a partisan. So, there's a lot of emotion there, but he still has those Jedi tenets, and you see them come out. So all of that is to say, so far, I thought EA has done a great job really developing the characters, developing a storyline that makes me very interested to want to play the rest of the game. And they've kept the gameplay to the point where it was still very familiar. It's not too new. There's not too much new stuff. And I felt like I was hooking right back in and just playing another expansion to the original game on some level.
Nice. How about you?
I like it. No, a lot of the same things. Like I've only gotten, I'm really in. I'm just getting into it. Like I've gotten past that part that you're talking about with the ninth sister. I'm on the planet where you find fucking short dude with the arms.
Same. That's about where I am.
So, but I do find it to be a little bit harder. Just generally speaking, a little bit harder. I think the people that you're encountering, like the average trooper, the average enemy, just is a little bit harder.
Yep.
Now, are you playing on the story mode, or are you playing on the? Okay.
No, I'm on the mid mode. Whatever you start out with.
Whatever it starts with.
Yeah.
But it's the violence that I like. It's that level of violence that I like. Where you're just cleaving fucking people with your lightsaber. So it's the same thing that I liked about Fallen Order. I mean, that my favorite thing in the world is just fucking grabbing a stormtrooper, bringing him towards me right into the fucking lightsaber, and just cutting him in half. It's the fucking best. But yeah, so far the story's been intriguing. And you know what? There's not as many story cuts as there was in Fallen Order. Like I think there was times in Fallen Order where there was almost like, okay, I'm watching more of a movie than I am playing the game. And in this, so far, it hasn't been that way. And the parts that it has done that, it's been like, okay, this is important. Like, we need to see what's going on right now. Yeah. So, tell this little bit of the story. So I really think that they've done a good job so far. I'm really, really curious to see how it ends. I will say this, you make a great point about like starting. They didn't nerf him right from the jump. Like
where you got to relearn your abilities all over again.
But you still can build on abilities, like the abilities tree that you had like in Fallen Order. Now it's there's way more. Like they've broken it down more so that when you're actually like adding to your skill levels, there's actually more stuff you can add to. And it's changed it's familiar, but it's actually changed in a way that makes it better, I think. So far I would say that if you enjoyed Fallen Order, you should be playing this game, and I think most people are.
Yeah. I'm really interested, and I have been, to see whether they, oh God, who's the actor who does Cal Kestis?
I don't know his name, but looks identical to the video game character.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my hope is they bring him in live action somewhere.
They've been hinting at it for a while. Like I can't see it not happening eventually.
I mean, particularly because just like with Bo-Katan, it's a slam dunk. The guy's an actor. The character looks like him. The voice is the same. I mean,
and it's such a dynamic character too. I mean,
it really is.
It's not just this generic fucking Jedi.
No.
It's like there's actual, like, I don't know. It's just not your average Jedi. So I would love to see him brought into into the real world.
That whole period between because I'm rewatching Rebels now, basically to get ready for Ahsoka coming out. So I went back and watched the pieces of Clone Wars that had to do with when they end up on that. It's not really a planet, but it's that place where they have the embodiments of the Force, and it's like a 3-episode arc.
Are you talking the World Between Worlds?
Yeah.
We just rewatched that one for the show a couple weeks ago.
So that, because of some of the rumors that are on about the new characters that are out, just to refresh my memory, and then I'm watching Rebels, also because I just haven't seen it in a long time. In that period between the fall on the Jedi storyline, between the fall of the Old Republic, and then basically, sort of episode 4 or 5 timeline, super interesting to me, because you have a bunch of Jedi. Like, I know Yoda says, when I die, the last Jedi you will be, but and I leaned to you when we were watching the movie. I'm like, you and like 40 other people run around right now. But maybe to Yoda's, I mean, to be fair, maybe that was the only one he knew about.
Yeah, I mean, because as we talk about Return of the Jedi, it's fairly obvious that Yoda, in his advanced age and his inability to really understand what's going on in this,
right,
because of how compromised he was by Palpatine and the dark side. I really don't think he had any idea. How many Jedi were actually out there,
or the fact that he meant, there's plenty of Force users out there, but you're the last one who's been trained,
right,
to be a Jedi.
That's fair. And to that point, the reason I find the timeline with the Jedi so interesting during that time is you have people like Cal and other storylines where they were Padawans, they had some training, and now they're sort of left to fend for themselves. Some of them, like Cal, become a Jedi Knight, but that's a whole new definition from what a Jedi Knight was before, because you don't have anybody, by and large, keeping you on the straight and narrow. Like Ezra Bridger, Kanan dies at the end of Rebels. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, why are you on this podcast?
Right.
And so all of those Jedi or new Jedi, right? They don't have a monastic order keeping them on the straight and narrow. There's no one to check them. Like, well, for perfect example, when Cal gets to Grease's bar and they're just sort of talking about, the old group, because they've sort of splintered and gone their separate ways. And Grease says to him, they're talking about Mirren and then Seer, 2 characters from the original Fallen Order, and Grease says, have you seen her lately? And Cal goes, Mirren's kind of doing her own thing. And Grease said, I meant Seer, but yeah, her too. And the point is, like, if you were in the monastic order, you would have gotten beaten with the stick of, we have no attachments. You're not allowed to be attracted to anyone.
Right.
But Cal's got nobody to hit him with that. And, so it's just an interesting time period because they're not Boy Scouts. Probably goes to the same reason why I don't like Superman or like Cyclops. It's like, you guys are just
too good, too innocent.
Yeah. Things are gray.
Yeah.
So I threw up on the screen for those that are watching on YouTube. This is a screen grab that I got from Xbox today because I'm playing it on the Xbox X and it's fucking phenomenal, graphics wise and everything. And this is like in game screenshot.
Big download from what I heard, like big file.
It was like 134 gig, I think. Yeah.
I got the discs, but it took an hour.
It was large, but fucking beautiful. And it's, you're walking in these. What I'm looking forward to once I get through all this is I did the same thing you did. I went back to Fallen Order, but I did it like right before, because I'm like in between semesters for my master's right now, so. I like had a little bit of time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play Fallen Order for one, because it's the gameplay is unique, right? It's that Titanfall 2, like I've talked about, like this the gameplay. So I wanted to have some muscle memory back for when it came out, so that I'd jump right into it, and it was extremely helpful to have done that, and kind of coming into it. I think I got 80%. It was like 84%, something. Like got everything, go back to all those worlds. I'm willing to bet that when all this is done and I can go back into these worlds, there are so many nooks and crannies on all these maps that you're going to be able to go back to and spend just countless hours exploring in these maps. Because Fallen Order, I think, just gave us a taste of that, and I think they're going to explore that even more with this game.
Coming back to the earlier piece we had on the discussion about the difficulty level, I felt as though in Fallen Order, particularly once you got out of Ilum, you sort of got to the last quarter of the storyline. You were like in God mode. You just killed people with impunity, and you just could brute force and mash your way through the game. Now I got to learn how to dodge again. That's my problem. My problem is like can't keep. I'm playing it on PlayStation. Is can't keep hitting square. Must use circle occasionally.
Yeah,
Must dodge.
Yeah, dodge, and because your blocks are almost ineffective for almost everybody you encounter.
In the new, and that's kind of I think how they managed to nerf it. Right, they didn't take your abilities away, but now the enemies are a little stronger. You've got to work your way up the tree with blocks and attack power, and there's a lot less, at least in the beginning of it, stormtroopers and stuff like that. Particularly when you get to Kobo, the planet that's sort of the hub of the game. It's a lot more big, wild creatures, and your block does nothing. So you need to learn to dodge.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So Jason, fucking get the game.
I know. I've had so much other shit going on, and I'm going to talk about it here in a minute.
Dude,
some of the other stuff I've been buying, but I'll get there. But I still kind of really want to go back and replay Fallen Order first, because I never did finish it. Because I got to Dathomir and I kept getting killed over and over again, and I'm just like, fuck it. So
I need to finish this before Starfall comes out from Bethesda.
Oh yeah,
that's what I have to do.
they're the Fallout and the Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
Their space game comes out, which
So now they're going into space.
they're gonna make me buy an Xbox. Those jerks, Microsoft.
I mean, it's the better system anyway.
Not really, but that's okay.
All right, fair enough.
No, it's not. Xbox is definitely like. It just is. Sorry.
Well, I think that's a whole other podcast if we're going to debate the PlayStation versus Xbox. So why don't we move on and go into our weeks? Shall we, Dave?
Yes.
All right.
We haven't talked about our weeks yet.
No. So first I have a new addition to
The sacred Jedi Pops.
So as you know, Kristen.
Pops.
Yes, because Kristen's got all the pink Valentine's Day
that's
pops.
right. Yes.
And after doing a bunch of research, apparently there was still one more that she didn't have. And there was a lot of confusion around it too, because it was something that was announced by the Funko Pop people, but never actually released on time for Valentine's Day. They apparently released it later. I don't know what the whole story is. Kristen could tell it to you better, but she finally got it. And it is Fennec Shand.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. I got your back is what she says on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Valentine's one.
It's Fennec, and
Yep.
she's pink.
Yes,
Yep.
she is.
It's very pink.
Yeah.
Very, very pink.
That's why Kristen wanted them all. So I think that's the last one that she needed. So, and she did end up buying another Ray and BB-8 to open and put on her desk.
Nice.
So
Yeah, it's got like a special edition tag on it.
The only pop
Interesting.
I own is a Star Wars pop, and it's the guy from the Japanimation series from the first episode.
oh, the Ronin.
The Ronin one.
Yeah.
This guy?
Yep. Frickin'
Yeah.
God, what
He's right there.
Yep.
He's right there, and I have the single version of him. He's actually hiding behind a black saber. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the book. When the book came out, I read the book, and I was really, really hoping when Visions came out.
Wait, there's a book on him as a character?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got
Yes.
it.
Oh,
Okay.
dude, you have to get it.
I mean, Star Wars is based off, what's it called? Kurosawa movies. And so anytime they harken back to that, I'm in. Like the episode of Mandalorian when Ahsoka shows up. I mean, all of that is just...
Yeah, it's all right out of a samurai movie.
Yep,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, get the book.
All right.
Worth it.
I'll have to find it.
Totally worth it.
All right. In addition to that, I also have an addition to.
The sacred Jedi Pixies!
So we were talking about Jedi Fallen Order. I now have Cal Kestis from this is actually Jedi Survivor. Still in the no plastic packaging, which I know Hasbro said that they're
Why?
So for a while, Hasbro decided that they wanted to do this whole plastic-free packaging environment, saving the earth, blah blah blah, and so they, like you can see, some of my Black Series figures have the full cardboard packaging, but they announced a couple weeks ago during Celebration that they were going back to a new biodegradable type of plastic. So because enough people complained.
Well, they just found a fungi that eats plastic apparently, so we're fine now.
There you go.
Nothing-
Perfect.
I'm sure nothing can go wrong as it
Nope.
eats plastic and continues to evolve until it eventually can eat humans.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
Or just
Yeah.
continues to eat all the other petroleum-based things that are...
Which, I'm sure we're fine. I'm
Yep.
sure it'll be great.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I bought today, because I have no self-control and Kristen does not discourage me from spending money as she should be.
Is she gonna take away your credit card when we go to Batu?
Probably not.
Because Doc Ondars can get pricey pretty quick, buddy. I'm just
Well,
telling you.
we'll figure it out. But I've had this on pre-order for a while, so I got a new Nintendo Switch, which is in the Zelda.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The Zelda designed console for the Nintendo Switch. It's not actually in here. It's
I
in
was
the
gonna
house.
say you're manhandling it pretty good for.
It's in the house charging. But yeah, I just picked this up today. I don't really care about the Zelda game so much. I care about the Advance Wars remake that just came out, which we talked about this like a year ago.
Right.
That was supposed to come out last year, and then Russia decided to go to war with Ukraine, and Nintendo delayed it for reasons. So
Don't they understand?
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this wasn't brought up in any international conferences. I'm surprised.
Right. Yeah.
Where's my fucking game?
Yeah.
God damn it.
So yeah, that's been my, and it's not even a week since it's only been like what 4 days since we recorded last.
Facts.
Yeah. So, but in that time, I was able to spend quite a bit of money. So
Yeah, lucky you.
hooray. Yeah, and I'm about to go spend a ton more next week when
Yeah.
we go to to the Star Cruiser.
Fuck it,
So,
can't take it with you.
yeah, well. So that's my week, Dave. What about you?
I like look at the notes, right? It consists of shit, forgot again. Fuck. I like literally my brain is fucking mush. I've been watching the draft, right, for the foosballs, and Eagles have been drafting very nicely. I'm not sure what the 49ers are doing.
They've only had like one draft pick in the first like 4 rounds.
Yeah, that's a good recipe for success, I'm sure.
I don't think so, but whatever. They mortgaged their future for winning now.
Right.
How'd that work out?
Not very well.
Yeah. Trey Lance. Hooray.
I mean, I would have taken any quarterback that could throw the ball in that game, but
Yeah, well, yeah, that could throw the ball. But
so anyway,
regardless, yeah, so I've been watching the draft, and I can't remember anything else I've really been doing aside from the shit that we're going to be talking about. Dude, I did want to bring this up because it's legitimate, right? And we had, you're here as a third party to fucking bounce this off of.
I'm happy to adjudicate.
Yes. No, but traffic. So your commute's not nearly as bad, but you still have to you get into this fucking 70, 73 fucking bullshit. Right?
yeah, and it has been bad lately.
Dude, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? Like 295, the 295-42 interchange has always been bad, right? I've been driving on these roads for fucking 30 years.
Oh yeah, you're
right?
coming from Runnymede. That's right.
Yeah. So, and I'm going up to the base every day.
Yeah.
So, and I used to take Turnpike. The Turnpike's just too fucking
There's
expensive
no
to
back
take every day.
way, like back road way
From
the base?
there, it would
Yeah.
take me even longer.
Okay.
Like so, but 295 has been. There's been more fucking cars than I've ever seen on the road at fucking 7 a.m, and I'm like, where the fuck are all you people going? Especially going north, like because it thins out. Like once you get past like exit 42, there's nothing. Like it's not. So it's not like everyone's going up to New York. So where the fuck are all these people going? And everyone's driving like they've never driven before, right? It's like they've never been on a highway before. Like they don't. We're weaving in and out of traffic. Oh my God, the roads are wet. We're gonna slam into people constantly. Like what the? I have a theory.
Okay.
I don't know why there's so many cars on the road right now. One thing I miss about COVID was the fucking roads were just empty.
Yeah.
It was fucking great.
Because you were still going into the office.
Well, for a bit.
Yeah.
We ended up teleworking as well. But it was glorious. I did enjoy that. Just no, I think these days cars are too safe. Think about when we started driving, right? We're driving these giant heavy vehicles that with no airbags, no fucking no proximity warning sensors, nothing beeping at you, no collision warning, no fucking lane departure, none of this fucking bullshit. The only thing that was distracting you in the car was if if you just got a fucking, quarter pounder at fucking McDonald's or the radio. That was it. And you're in the CD changer if you had that fucking Velcro.
That came later. It
Yeah,
was cassettes to start with.
But like you're driving, you didn't have all this extra shit that was going to keep you safe in the car. So I think people paid attention more. And now, because you have all these things that are beeping and fucking telling you that, oh, hey, we're going to prevent you from fucking getting in a wreck, or you're going to live through this, because most people do these days. I just think people are just like, fuck it, Jesus, take the wheel.
Literally.
It's just horrific how people are fucking driving. It's as somebody who's been commuting, I've been commuting to the base every fucking day since 2006. Right? So that's a solid 17 years of fucking experience commuting a good long way. And I can tell you this year, probably since October, it has been the worst that I've ever seen it.
I mean, it really ticks me off, and has ever since they put GPSs in cars. When they were installed in cars, not when you could go buy a Garmin. When a car, I remember I had a Ford Edge, and it had a GPS in it, and I was doing something, and I went to go put in like an alternative route because I thought, I'm not going. Somebody called me on my Nokia cell phone, and I had it on speaker in the car, and we're not doing. Okay, plans change. I'm going somewhere else, and I went to go put in a new address, and it was all grayed out, and it was like, yeah, you can't do that because you're driving. I'm like, yo, listen, man, don't you dare. I got angry. I got verbally angry.
It's like yelling at the GPS.
I was like, don't you take away my choice. You don't make these. I'll decide if I'm going to be unsafe or not. You don't get to make that decision. You know what? It's my life. It's not your life.
That's
like
right.
Ford, some giant corporation's going to tell me I can't be unsafe on the road. You know what? If I want to crash, what's next, Ford? What's next? Are you going to tell me that I can't eat a sandwich and drink a soda with each hand while trying to shave and with one foot and work the brake with my other foot? Because that's totally safe. I've been doing that for years. But now apparently, if you take your hands off 10 and 2, the car...
Dude, my car does the same thing. My car will tell me, put your hands on the steering wheel.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? That reminds me of that meme. It's like, my wife came in and asked me why was I wearing a gun in the house. And I said, Decepticons. She laughed. I laughed. The toaster laughed. I shot the toaster. It was a great time. It's the same thing.
The fucking car is telling me to put my hands back on the wheel. The fucking, what else does it do? If I'm driving erratically because I'm probably doing something I shouldn't be in the car, like
but that's
fucking
your
with
choice.
my phone.
That's your choice.
It'll say, recommends a rest stop. Like
really?
Yeah, it'll recommend or fucking to take a rest.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, stuff like that makes me just want to, and not at the GPS. It's not the GPS's fault. It's the car manufacturer's fault.
Yeah.
I just want to yell at them like, who are you? When did I ask for your opinion on my safety?
Yeah.
Well, Jason just finally discovered last week that you could actually stop the window from rolling down.
Yeah, no, we talked about that last week. For some reason, you know how windows are like automatic now. You hit down and it just goes all the way down until you tell it to stop.
But you can tell it to stop.
Right, but I always thought you had to like pull it the opposite way to get it to stop, but then it would start rolling up again, and I'd like go back and
Picture
forth.
Jason in the car fighting with the fucking window to try and get it. He doesn't want it all the way down, but just
So yeah, so finally last week I realized, oh, you can just hit down again and it'll stop.
It's like something out of a Mel Brooks or Steve Martin movie.
yeah. Poor Jason.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm not a smart man.
Driving his electric car.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got an electric car.
yeah, they're not bad.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. It was never like, I mean, look, being green, you can have that argument, which is not what this podcast is about, right?
No,
Right.
no.
So, you could talk about that, but for me, like, it's a fun car. It's neat. It's interesting, that's
Yeah.
why I got it. I was like, this is interesting. It's fun.
If I thought it would be viable for the commute, if the cost benefit analysis, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, for as long
my
as you have
commute.
to drive every day. Yeah,
Yeah, and in the long term. Now, after I retire and I'm not making that commute, then it'll probably make more sense
Yeah.
because I'll be driving smarter.
well, by then it'll be mandated.
Yeah, I mean it's coming, but
I do live in New Jersey.
yeah. Well, by then the plastic eating fungus will have taken care of everything.
That is
Probably,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be good.
You know what? By then, the plastic eating fungus will be eating all plastic everywhere. Cars will be made by metal. Oh my God.
It'll be glorious. No, that 1968 Pontiac Catalina that we drove back. It'll be back.
That's an idea for a post-apocalyptic series. It's not that the fungus turns you into zombies. It just eats everything plastic. And suddenly everything is made out of metal and like wood. And
Yeah. Hey, welcome to 1950.
welcome to like 1960 or 70 too.
Yeah.
Particularly with cars.
My house was built in 1950 and the fucking windows are metal. Like all the window frames, like the joists, there's 6 inches of metal going down here.
And
They're super weather efficient.
it's probably also really fireproof. All that asbestos.
Yeah,
in the walls.
yeah. We're not going. We're gonna try and not think about that.
Also, I wouldn't need any of the paint chips. Just gonna go out on a limb there.
It's fine. Look, between a 25-year career in the military and the shots and the burning things and breathing whatever we've been breathing and the radiation exposure and everything else, paint chips are the least of my fucking worries.
Yeah, that's fair. So, all right, is that your week?
Sure.
All right, Bob, you got anything interesting you want to talk about that you did this week?
Yes. 12 years of shit since it's the last time you've been on here. So go.
Okay, so for the last 6 years, now, I feel like I should be able to do that. I should have had ready that thing from that was it Ant-Man, or where you guys saw? Was it the second Ant-Man?
Dave's not a Marvel guy,
No.
so
I'm gonna send this to you, Dave. Google it. It's one of the like bit characters in Ant-Man. Ant-Man comes out of wherever he was. He's been gone for years, and he gets in the van with his buddy, and he's like, "What have I missed?" And his buddy sums up the Marvel universe.
Oh,
in like-
yeah. I've
in
seen
like-
that. I
in
have
like
seen
a
that.
minute and a half,
It-
and it's
The Hispanic guy, right? Yeah.
I feel like I should have that ready. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What did I miss in 6 years? Well, so this week, let's just guardrails. Let's just keep it to the week.
yeah.
What did I do this week? Work, prayed that my Etsy and Amazon stuff would come in for Starcruiser. maybe looked at tracking numbers on the internet more than I've done in a long time.
refresh.
like that thing's coming from Nepal. Is it on the plane yet? Better be on the goddamn plane. And then
Go fly out there and pick it up. Fuck it.
I knew it when he said it would get here on time. I shouldn't have believed him.
Yeah.
And then Jedi Fallen Order came in, so that's soaked up a pretty fair part of my weekend. It's actually really nice. Everything sort of hit perfectly with Star Wars stuff. My wife and my daughter are down at the shore we have a shore house, and they're like fixing stuff up and doing things. So they've been out of the house for the last 2 days, and I actually don't have a lot going on this weekend for whatever reason, which is very weird. And so I have done something that I haven't gotten to do in a long time, which is sit and mindlessly play a video game for.
Isn't that awesome?
It's really, you know what? It's really nice. I mean, particularly if you're a parent and you're, you know, and you've got work and life and stuff. I think there's a lot to be said for a couple hours of just like, if that's your thing, like if meditation, whatever your thing is, but getting a couple of hours of that it's nice.
Yeah, I'm. Yes, therapy tells me to do this a lot, but I'm constantly seeking that because I task myself too heavily.
Yeah,
I'm constantly, because I have an inability to say no to people, and I'm constantly working on something. Like there's a pile of shit that I'm going to have to do when I get home after this. And when I decide, when I make that decision, like, all right, I'm just going to put this off. What?
Going back to the Ant-Man thing.
Because he was.
he was Hispanic. He was
That's how I remembered it.
No, he was. And
I'm not sure shit not going to remember his name because guess what? I didn't see the fucking movie because it was Marvel.
And I'm horrible with names, so, you know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, meditating. Yeah, getting just having a free couple hours where nobody's expecting anything of you. Nobody's going to call. I'm just going to not look at my fucking phone. I'm going to do something that I want to do. There's just something to be said for, holy fuck, I'm an adult. Nobody's asking me to do anything. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go to fucking Harbor Freight. I'm going to go right now. If I want to do that, I could just fucking do it. Yeah, it's just, somebody said for freedom.
The day you realize you're an adult is the day you realize that you can have chocolate cake for dinner and no one can stop you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I may have been guilty of that a time or two.
Oh, totally.
God.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was my week, work and then that and just kind of getting ready to go to Starcruiser.
All right. And we're going to get into that too. So, but first, as we get into our Star Wars topics, Bob, I want to ask you, because Dave and I talked about this last week about the end of Mandalorian, and what were your thoughts on particularly like the last couple episodes, the finale, and
I think, and I've read some different articles on this from very educated people, aka the interwebs.
Yeah.
And I think that my opinion might differ a little bit from what seems to be the general Star Wars fan group think. By the way, there's a great meme, C3P. It's a picture of C3PO, and it says, "C3PO, always loud, always complains about everything. C3PO is a real Star Wars fan."
Yeah, pretty much.
which I feel triggered, and I also identify with greatly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's legit.
I thought that. So starting with maybe what I disagree with some of the articles I read, I actually enjoyed the Mandalore storyline getting inserted into there. I didn't have a problem. There was a lot of talk around the internet of Din Djarin and Grogu being bit characters in their own series. And for me, I actually kind of thought that was neat. Like, they were seated in the background for a little bit. There was this other story, which I found super interesting. Like, I wanted to know what's going to happen. They've got the Darksaber. I mean, once the Darksaber showed up, I was like, all right, well, they got to go back to Mandalore at some point, because that's what this thing is. And, and they did. I thought it was sloppy writing about how they got the Darksaber into Katie Sackhoff's hands.
Oh yeah.
But as far as the end of the series goes, like, I don't know, I give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It was good. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it. But it was interesting to see Mandalore get liberated, at least for now. I mean, there's like 60 of them on a planet. Yeah. Right? Like, how long do you hold out against?
Well, I mean, that's Star Wars in general, right? Like, there's these planets and moons, right? And they're so hyper focused. Like, oh yeah, here we are. It's ours now. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of square footage here that you're not counting for.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, with Mandalore, if the entire planet is totally bombed and back into the Stone Age, then maybe that's the only piece worth being at. And so who knows? But your point is well taken. I'll tell you some of the things. So I'll tell you some of the things I didn't like, some of the things I did like. I didn't like the fact that there was no cost to the win. So
Nobody died.
Paz
nothing
Vizsla
like-
dies,
Oh yeah.
and that stinks.
Paz Vizsla, no.
But he's not a main character.
no.
Right.
I really thought, I was one of the people who thought there was a real possibility Din Djarin dies. Like, I was like, okay, like they got, because the episode before, they got him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't like this. In the beginning of the episode, he just like beats the crap out of both those people in handcuffs, and it's like, oh, you don't got me anymore. I'm like, wait. What?
Yeah, we mentioned that last week too, like how Gideon captures him. He's like, okay, you two random stormtroopers, go take him away.
Yeah,
What could go wrong?
I mean, just proving once again that the First Order or the proto First Order that this is obviously still hasn't figured out the formula on how to actually basically train stormtroopers.
Right.
I mean, there is no basic training. I actually think there might be negative basic training.
Right.
Like you get in here, it's like,
Oh, you were a cop or something? Like, oh yeah, we gotta get that out of your system.
denied,
Yeah.
denied. So, I wasn't crazy about the fact that there's no cost to retaking Mandalore. You know, Bo-Katan lives.
Yeah.
Wolf lives. I thought he might die. Like, okay, he's a bit character, but
Yeah, as he was going down with the ship, that seemed pretty obvious.
right. But he has some relationship to her, and I could see them making a thing out of that.
Yeah.
But nobody. No, apparently, Mandalorians died. Obviously, I mean it's a war, but like apparently none of the main characters have to pay for this, and that was kind of disappointing to me.
Yeah.
And I thought that I think they put a bow on Mandalore pretty nicely at the end. Like they left it open to maybe its own series, or
Right,
maybe
that's
a
what I was
side
thinking.
series or something.
Yeah.
But they left it open enough that there's a lot that can happen there, which is smart marketing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, you know, let's not close this off too much. We might be able to milk this for more money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I wasn't so upset with the whole Mandalore storyline taking main stage with that. So I thought it was like a 6 or 7 out of 10. As a side note, and I know this is a Star Wars podcast, but I will tell you, I'm pretty harsh on season finales with series. Very few of them get like the 10 out of 10 rating from me. But go watch Picard and go watch the season finale.
So
It's a 10 out of 10.
I just finished season 1 last week.
Season 2
So-
stinks.
That's what I heard.
You're gonna have to get through it. It's just you just deal with it. It's like Last Jedi. I mean, you deal with it, you get through it, and you move on.
That's
It may be worse than Last Jedi.
Yeah.
God, that's bad.
That is
But
a
season 3 is great. It's like it's heartwarming, particularly if you grew up with the Next Generation.
Which I did.
And the final episode, I was like, flawless victory. You know?
Oh man.
So,
All right.
But anyway, that's
I'll have to get on it.
If anybody's watched it, just for who's listening, that's my yardstick for a 10 out of 10. So I give this a 6 or a 7. It's good. I'm looking forward to season 4. And then I've heard that they're going to do a mashup. So they're going to do like Infinity War.
Pretty much. That's what it sounds like.
Where they're
Yeah.
gonna, I guess they're going to have a full-length feature movie potentially where
Yeah.
all of these people.
Yeah, and
sort
they're saying Filoni's going to run it. After we did the episode, and I was, one of the things we talked about was where the fuck is the Mandalorians in the sequel trilogy, right? How come if Mandalore is back, and even with given its location, like how did it not participate in some sort of way? From a writing standpoint, I don't know how you don't kill everybody. Like maybe you keep everybody alive right now because they're all going to go some sort of way.
Maybe, but remember in Clone Wars they were neutral, so maybe they're like, I mean, maybe you're Bo-Katan and you're like, screw this, like I got to rebuild. We need generations of rebuilding. We're neutral. We're not, the Empire, but the First Order is different. Like, we're out. We're out.
It's such
Oh, that'd be
it's so
that'd be quite a storyline actually.
yeah, but it's I don't know. That again, if they pull that, it'd be very like that would kind of do the same thing that you're talking about. It's like there's no cost, right? Now you're getting Mandalore back. There's enough girls and boys, and you can make more girls and boys,
Well, and
right?
They can go adopt a bunch of foundlings too.
Yeah, apparently go steal kids and turn them into like.
It's what the Jedi do, right? It's what the Sith
Yeah,
do. Why
might as
not?
well
And
fucking go
look.
bang out some more fucking armor and I don't know. All I know is the idea that Mandalore is sitting out there through the entire sequel trilogy with no interaction with the rebellion or whoever is it just seems off to me.
I mean, maybe there's a question of. So the rebellion happens. What is it, like 35 years after the Empire's formed? Like Last Jedi, all that stuff. Is it 35 years? Or something?
Well, it's about 20 between episodes 3 and 4,
Right.
and then I think they said another like 20 to 30 from 6 to 7.
So Bo-Katan might still be alive by then. Probably is, because Luke's still alive, and they're maybe. Nah, she's older. So, but my point is. The other option is there's just not that many of them left. No. And so they go back to Mandalore and they repopulate it, but you're just not big enough to make an impact on an intergalactic war.
Right, and that's my thought too, because the galaxy is very, very large, millions of planets that are occupied and settled, and we've seen such a narrow view of what's going on during the sequel trilogy that it's like there could be all kinds of crazy shit going on across the galaxy.
Or, and this is something to think about, did Starkiller Base just wax Mandalore along with everything else?
That
It's like
that's something to consider.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a more viable way of eliminating. Not necessarily you don't have to have everybody on it.
No.
You can have a cohort somehow fucking get free.
That's how Din Djarin's people survived. They were on a moon. They weren't on Mandalore when it got bombed.
So that's entirely probable. They're like, all right, Mandalore, before they fucking become problems again, let's just fucking eliminate the planet completely.
Yeah.
Like, let's stop fucking around. Let's just test out our fucking big boob nipple gun and fucking just and just take care of it.
Let's just test out our gun. That is definitely not the Death Star.
Definitely
It's
not.
definitely not the Death Star.
It's way bigger. Bigger is better, right? Bigger, obviously.
Hey, that storyline did everything it should have done in that movie, which is got you engaged, and I don't know. I liked the first movie.
Oh, Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We're on
Totally.
record as loving that movie.
I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
It created a I think it did what it needed to do, which was, as we talked about, Star Wars fans are fickle.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of just patted you on the back and sort of stroked the back of your head and said, "It's going to be okay.
Well,
We're fine."
I mean,
Welcome
look at the
Welcome
very
back to the Star Wars.
Yeah, welcome back. We're going to progress from here, but welcome back. You're in familiar territory.
I mean, it's no coincidence that the opening line of the movie is, "This will begin to make things right." So,
Yep.
yeah. All right. Well, very good. Now let's start talking about Return of the Jedi back in theaters for its 40th anniversary, which, again, the fact that it's 40 years old, because Bob, I know you've got a special story about when this came out, but for me, I saw it in theaters probably that summer. It wasn't in May. It was probably like June or July when I was like 6 years old, but I still remember it to this day. I remember sitting in that theater and, watching it for the first time. And that was really when I became a hardcore Star Wars fan, and just seeing it again in theaters is just, it's an experience you can't pass up. Right. I mean,
No, I 100%. Like, you can't any one of these movies now, any one of them, even if honestly, like, if in 5 years Last Jedi comes out in a theater, I'd probably go see it. I just would.
Yeah.
Because how many these, I said it last week and I'll say it to whoever asked me. These movies were designed to be seen in these theaters.
Yeah.
Like, everything about them, the cinematography was designed for me to be sitting in that chair looking at it with all of this in front of me. Case in point, the thing I found, yesterday,
Yeah.
I would have never saw that. It's just not something I picked up from watching it at home. Mm-hmm. You know, hundreds. I've seen this movie hundreds of fucking times, probably thousands. I mean, literally. And I never noticed that before.
So do we want to talk about since you brought it up, the scout trooper?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scout trooper sitting after they get out of the bunker, and they all put their hands over their heads, and the rebels are out there. There's an armored scout trooper with no helmet on.
No helmet
sitting there
on.
with his hands over his head.
Yeah. So I see this, right?
Yeah. And this is yesterday as we were watching this in theaters.
In the fucking movie, right?
Did you do research on it?
So Jason.
So I did some follow up on it.
Yeah, Jason chased it down a little bit. I ended up not having any bandwidth to do it, but so this is what ended up happening, right? So I'm watching, and they're panned out, and before you see the ATST, and I saw a fucking scout trooper with his hands over his head, and I thought that's fucking weird.
This is after the Empire rolled up on him after they went into the bunker to destroy it, but then
after Papa Palpatine says, I've got an
entire legion of my best troops.
Guys, you're spoiling the movie, by the way.
I know.
sorry,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, put that in the notes before we start. So yeah, they're bringing Han and Leia and those guys out of the
they're all
bunker.
on program. You know,
Yes.
they've all got the
Yes, exactly. And
Han's like, I've been here before.
yes, I know what to do. So no, put your clothes back on. What the fuck are you doing? Anyway, so and it pans out, and I see the scout trooper, and his hands are over his head, and I'm like, did he not have his helmet on? And then as they came back through another pan by, you actually see it a little bit closer, and no shit, the guy's obviously incarcerated, like he's with the rest of the rebel troops, and he's in scout trooper uniform with no helmet on, right? He's a fucking regular guy with a fucking white goatee, white mustache, and he's standing there like this on program, right? And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? There's no part of this movie or any part of anything that I know about this era around Return of the Jedi that had any storyline where there was a guy fucking in a scout trooper uniform, running some fucking some Advon thing. Was this a 3-letter agency that had gotten rolled up, and they'd fucking caught him while he was doing some wet work? I don't know, but it's just I never fucking saw it before.
Yeah. And part of it's because you're watching on this big screen, you can just see more.
Yeah, I haven't seen this in the theater since 1997.
Yeah, since special editions.
Yeah, so and in 1997, I don't know. It's not something I would have saw. I guess because in 1997 I hadn't seen it since 1983 in the theater. So this time watching it, having seen it, had the opportunity to see it thousands of times because I can watch it on my fucking iPad. I can watch it on my fucking phone. Mm-hmm. I've watched it on the jet while we've been flying over the fucking Pacific, in the middle of the night when everyone else is fucking sleeping, and I'm trying not to, and be on listening to static over HF. I'm watching Return of the Jedi. It's
You're giving me some PTSD right now.
Yeah, sorry. Listening for your fucking tones for the HF. I've seen the movie so many goddamn times, and I have the availability of it to sit there. I'm looking at everything when I'm watching in the theater now, and a little detail like that, proves that they went to that level of detail. This is what Star Wars is about. It's not about hey, we're only giving you this much detail. No, we're giving you all of this. This is why we're building these sets and making all this realism. We're giving you all of this, and we're giving it to you so when you're watching it on the screen, you can see all these little things. I think there's got to be some little fucking nugget. There's got to be some little story. Or it's just hey, we need another body for this renter crowd. Take your helmet off and just stand here.
No, by then, you're talking about they had to make the movie a different title, so no one knew they were filming it. They called it Blue Harvest.
Yep.
So by then, there's no way it's we need an extra body. There's a line of crew people who would love to be an extra body in that film.
Oh, of course. So, but after we talked about this after the movie, I went home.
You went to the Google, didn't
Well,
you?
no, I just went home and I went to Disney Plus and I pulled up the movie first to see what Dave was talking about. So in that wide shot when they're bringing him out of the bunker, sure as shit, there's a guy in a scout trooper uniform, no helmet on, hands up. I think it might be the Rex guy, the guy with the beard.
Well, then he did a wardrobe change very
Well,
quickly.
so what happened was, so I went back to when they first when Han tapped the scout, when Han tapped the guy on the shoulder and then ran around and then they all just stopped the scout trooper. Right after that scene, you see a forward shot of Han and them walking into the bunker. In the background, you can see somebody in that scout trooper uniform just standing guard at the door, like all is normal. So after they rolled up that scout trooper, dude got into his armor and was standing at the door to make sure everything looked all cool in the gang. And then apparently when the legion of Palpatine's troops rolled up,
He
they're
was like, everything's fine here. We're fine.
how are you?
How are you?
And they went, nice try.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
what did he say? What's your
Your designation?
yeah? What's your designation? Boring conversation. Anyway,
Yeah. So, but that's what happened. And it's one of those details that like happens in the background. You can barely see it, but once you go back and watch it over a couple of times, it's like, oh, that's what happened.
Man, how do you? Wow, if that is supposed to be the Rex character, by the way, how do you do that? Because you're gonna come out with that clone accent, and you know damn well if that's Palpatine's legion of
Of his
best
finest troops?
there are definitely veterans of the Clone Wars in that
Like,
legion.
wait a
Like-
minute.
Like the minute you're like, everything's fine here. Wait a minute, I know that voice.
Yeah, I've heard that voice 1,000 times.
nope. Sorry, dude. You picked the wrong guy to be
You know
standing
what, now,
out here.
now I want a side 5-minute video of like the fancy footwork this guy does to try to like
Yeah.
BS a couple more minutes out
Right?
of there. Kind of like
Yeah.
helmet not trying
Sorry.
audio.
Have you ever taken your helmet off? Nah, sorry, I can't. It's like the seal's like.
Have you ever taken your helmet off? This is the way.
This is,
Speaking of which, where did the Mando helmet go?
oh, it's over here.
Oh, okay. Did Bob see it?
No, I don't think you did. Check this thing out, man.
Nice. This is this isn't Din Djarin. This is
No, it's I think
This
it's
It
No,
was
this is
custom
good.
made, so
Sweet.
it's actually 3D printed.
Sturdy.
Yeah. So Lord Helmet Fire actually donated it to the pod. Friend of the podcast, and Patreon. What do we call them? Patreons.
Patreon member.
yeah.
Yes. Refer to the Sidebar Cantina dictionary. But yeah, so he, I think it was somebody had printed this up and had given it to him, and then he painted it. So he had done the paint on the outside. So now I gotta do some finishing work.
Yes.
Cool.
To put the padding on the inside and get the lensing. And what I really want to do is I want to do like the cooling fans and get all the electrical work in
Sweet.
to do it. I've been watching way too much Adam Savage Tested. Do you watch him?
No.
Oh my god, dude. It's the shit he does with like costumes and his cosplay
Really?
is fucking amazing.
Wow.
Like he worked on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right. So and he knows all of the guys who do all the costuming. So like if you go and I kind of pimped his podcast, I support his podcast via YouTube. I should really get some sort of kickback for this.
Should get him on the show.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Think of all the questions you could.
Oh my god.
yeah.
I
It would be endless.
I talk about Mythbusters for fucking 3 hours, and this guy wouldn't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I never watched it.
I only saw a few episodes.
No.
Oh my god.
I'm surrounded by assholes.
Science
It's-
wasn't my thing in college.
It's more the engineering. It's about blowing shit up. I mean, honestly, that's what they were best at, is
Yeah.
blowing shit up.
But
Anyway, yeah, that would be all the microelectronics and everything that they do now with the cooling fans and fucking yeah. So that's what I want. I'm trying to get to that level of precision for at least that for the helmet. Now the rest of it, like I can't do the fucking.
I've got the full Din Djarin kit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I told you that he's got the full.
I bought
Mando.
it for Halloween 2 years ago, and
All the vacuum form, like
yeah. It was
that's probably gonna have to happen.
It was really super funny too. When I was in my primary debate, I had the guy, I had a crazy guy in my primary debate, and he at one point was just sort of flailing because he couldn't. He was not doing well. Let's just put it that way. So,
Right.
You start pulling everything short of 4-letter words out that you can to like hurl at your opponent. And he says, well, if you look at, my Instagram, I'm, and he was a big Instagram guy, 400,000 followers. I'm talking about serious thing. Bob is dressed up in Boba Fett armor. And I was like, and I was because we had ours, it was like mid-May. So I
Right.
posted it on my Instagram for May the 4th.
Right.
But I'd taken the photo in October, and I even mentioned in my post that, anyway, it's like Bob is just running around on weekends wearing Mandalorian or wearing Boba Fett armor. I was like, this is in the middle of a political debate, right? for federal office. And I was like, it's Din Djarin. And by the way, you of all people should know that the day I post a photo doesn't mean it's the day you took the photo, man.
Right.
But I think I was more offended in the fact that he got the character wrong.
Right, he called it Boba
I
Fett.
was like, of all the insulting things that got hurled, I think that may have been the most. I'm like,
Right.
Wait, don't you watch this stuff? How do you? You know what? Your life is very bad if you can't figure this out.
It's one of those things where like how out of touch are you?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Pop culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you're trying to connect with people, like especially for voting and shit like that, like hey, you want to reach a generation, and you're going to say something about something, like make sure you're saying the right thing, because we have the ability to fucking deep dive into I don't know all of it,
I mean, I watch Squid Games. I'm not like a giant Squid Games fan, but it was a pop culture thing. It's like, if somebody brings it up somewhere, you want to be able to talk about it. So
Sure.
let's go watch it. Anyway, it's a sidebar. I was just very highly offended. I was like, how do you get this wrong? This is basic.
Right.
This is not like some character in the background of episode 1. This is two main characters.
And this is the Sidebar Cantina, so that's appropriate to.
And I mean, and frankly, it's a little offensive. I mean, what, man? Every Mandalorian just looks the same? Is that what they all look the same?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Jesus, man.
Yeah.
A little sensitivity here. That's all
Yeah.
I'm asking.
It just shows his true character.
Yeah,
really
yeah,
does.
exactly.
Really
Exactly.
So speaking of Boba Fett, Boba Fett was in Return of the Jedi, which we saw yesterday in theaters. Got to get back on track.
God, that death is still horrible.
Yeah,
I
It
mean,
is.
Boba Fett.
Oh,
Where?
You know what? Everybody has an off day. His just happened to be over a Sarlacc pit.
Well, I think it was Robot Chicken did it best.
yes.
When they have you seen the Robot Chicken Star Wars stuff?
I have, but it's been so long.
Where
I
it was he
barely
was
remember.
like shit drunk in the cantina
Oh,
of
so
the
I
sail
drank my
barge.
spill. Oh,
that makes a lot of sense.
yes.
actually.
Yeah. He's
And then he sees the action go. I was like, I'll go out and
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, you've made the biggest score of your career.
Yeah.
Somebody who, if you read the stories, I think Han and Boba Fett know each other from other stuff, and they're not friendly. So, like, you've taken somebody who's annoying and been annoying in your life, and now they're gonna die. So you've got a bunch of money. You're like the top bounty hunter in the galaxy,
Yep.
and this guy's about to get executed. He's been annoying anyway. Like, what else is there to do?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a drink.
It's
Fuck
like,
it.
in your mind, it's like, well, this is all wrapped up with a bow.
yeah. Let me go flirt with some of these honeys
exactly.
over here in Jabba's
Over here.
palace. And,
Although, frankly, if you were smart, given the trauma that Boba Fett has undergone, one would imagine that if even the smell of a Jedi is around, you're not drinking a damn thing. Mm-hmm. Although his character is, if you read the books, and I don't mean legends, I mean the canon stuff, his character is kind of an arrogant jerk.
Oh yeah.
Like he's a total arrogant
Oh
jerk.
yeah.
Which actually made the series really if you know his backstory, the series I thought was actually really well done because he gets humbled. He, his time with the Sand People is like this massively humbling experience. You go from like badass, arrogant bounty hunter to like dirt.
Yeah.
So on that sidebar, I think that Boba Fett, the series, yeah, humbling is the right thing. You know what? I think though they needed to spend less time in flashback.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think spend more time like in what's actually furthering the story of what's going on, because it just seemed really disjointed what they were doing with going back and forth. I really liked what they showed, like with the Tusken Raiders and everything else, but then yeah, it was really disjointed. Then you threw Mandalorian, season 2.5 in there, and it's like, okay, that actually at the end of it, we felt like it was kind of the best part of it.
Yeah.
Because then after that, you start getting like really campy fucking the Vespa scenes and with the fucking colored bikes, and you get a lot of nonsense. And I don't know. And then you don't get Boba Fett at all. You get a season 3 with no Boba Fett, and then the arrogance of the actual character comes out is like, oh well, I was supposed to be in it, but
Was he supposed to be in season?
Tamora Morrison had posted something on social media. It's like, oh, I was supposed to be in it, but they never called.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Are they? I haven't read up. Are they going to do anything more with that, or was that a one-off season?
There's nothing announced. I'm sure they were keeping the door open for more seasons, but given the reception that it got,
Yeah.
maybe not.
It's a dangerous game that you play, right? You're gonna take a character that was Boba Fett's one of the biggest characters in Star Wars. Like it or love it.
Yeah.
Like it or leave it. Or love it also.
Like it or not.
Or yeah, that words that you said. and then they make the series and it's like okay. It had something there, but it really never really hit. Yeah, there was some spark, never really turned into much fire, and then it stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I like the backstory part of it. The Mandalorian part was fine.
I don't know. I just feel like we were sold. Yeah, we were sold a that this was going to be sort of like a mob movie kind of thing too, and it was never delivered on that.
No. It really wasn't. I mean, it had elements of the Hutt cartel in it, but there's no. It's not The Godfather. It's not Goodfellas. It's not. You know what? I think maybe what their mistake might have been is they made Boba Fett a good guy.
Yeah.
And he should have been. They should have made him or not even an anti-hero. They should have just made him a villain. He goes in, takes over the Hutts. Because you know what? This is a good point. Thinking about it, the first couple of episodes, I thought, okay, backstory. We're getting through backstory. This is interesting. I always wanted to know what happened. So, okay, now he's taking over the Hutt cartel. And there's that episode where he like totally takes over. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, well, now what kind of Boba Fett do we get? He's been humble, but like he's still a bounty hunter gangster who's grown up in the underworld, right? So, and then you remember the next episode, there's the cantina blows up, which is very mob-like, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
And I thought, this is it, man. Like,
Yeah,
he's gonna start he's gonna start assassinating Hutts, and he's like, I'm waiting for the rest of the Hutt cartel to just go get killed. Like he just shows up at each one of their places.
Yeah. Now it's like revenge killing.
And that didn't happen. And instead it became like rob from the rich and give to the poor. And I was like, I've seen this story in Star Wars 100 times. I'm good. Kind of all right. But then they brought the Mandalorian in, so I was like, all right, good. Well, I got that going. So I got that going for me.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was kind of the land of missed opportunities. But I like generally speaking, and as we are talking about stuff that's happening right now with Disney Star Wars, like I said it last week, I'm generally pleased with everything that's happening. Like it's such a good time to be a Star Wars fan because you don't have to love everything that's out there.
No.
And it's getting more and more aggravating, all the fucking people that are thriving off all the negativity.
Well, and it's a shame because Star Wars, I don't have a lot of interaction with fans because I'm not part of the Star Wars universe. I'm a fan like everybody else. But it's a shame. It's one of the few fan bases I've seen that really, I mean, they could just get really catty and petty. And the reason I say it's a shame is this. Zoom out. I always find this is helpful in life. Like, zoom out for a minute, right? Zoom out from whatever series is your favorite right now or whatever one you're rewatching or whatever. Just zoom out to the whole universe. For most of... I'm going to be 40 next week. For most of my life, I got 3 movies, a holiday special.
Yes.
Whip.
Books, comic books, right? That told a story of an expanded universe. Some really good games, some good video games, but ultimately I got 3 movies.
Yeah.
That's what I got on large scale media. Then I got 3 more movies, which weren't bad, but we're all right. And now we have so much content that they can take the time to tell a side story about Obi-Wan Kenobi. You don't have to love that story. Personally, for me, I think it's probably one of the weaker series that they've done, but we have the luxury, because this is so big now, that they can go, you know what? We're going to explore that. Let's see where it goes. We'll tell it, well, it may not do great, but we're going to put it out anyway. Yeah. I mean, how can you possibly be angry or ungrateful right now?
Oh, great points for sure, but they are.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because they feel like they have to be. Like, if they've already, I think what Last Jedi did in our, as look, we're right in the middle of it, right? We're going to think of it as a Star Wars podcast. I think there's so many people that made their brand off of that level of hate that now they can't go back. And it's so much of it is furthered by just that. And me personally, right? Like, Jason, one thing that's good about us, and most of the people that listen and interact with us on a regular basis, like, I don't really give a shit about what other people are saying, because I'm in my own little bubble. Like, we do the podcast, we see the stuff that we see. I hate the clickbaity stuff, so I don't look at it. And the only time I really hear about it is like when I'm here, or like Nick, who's a friend of ours, he'll tell me about something that he decided to click on. I'm like, dude, why the fuck are you clicking on that? Why are you arguing with somebody online about something that is wrong? Like, stop it.
I mean, I think it's the inability of people to zoom out, and this is a problem in life in general, not just this, but like, you got to zoom out if you want to see where you've come from. You got to look at where you've been, and for so long, we got 3 movies. That's what you got. Yeah, you got 6. I mean, and also, and this is not a discussion you should do on this podcast, because quite frankly, you'd spend, there's people who've written Harvard papers on this, but it's social media too. And it's this idea that the thing that comes to my initial reaction, the initial reaction I have to something is the one that is most valid, and I'm going to put it on the interwebs. And the minute it gets written on a chat board or social media or wherever, now not only have I taken my first reaction and decided that's going to be my valid one, I'm committed now.
Yeah.
Like, because come on, think about it before, you had Twitter where, like, every thought that comes to your mind, by the way, who thought it was a good idea to make, I'm not on Twitter. Who thought it was a good idea to make something where I can post every random thought that comes into my mind? Like, what person, what? Anyway, my point is,
that's a whole other episode.
Oh my God.
But my point is, when it comes to Star Wars and other things like that and fans, it's like, your initial reaction is the one you post, and then you get invested in it. But think about it in life in general. If your initial reaction often is the worst reaction you have. I mean, when I think about, when I think about A New Hope, it's probably my, for a long time, when I first saw it, I was a very little kid. But when I first saw it sort of as an adult, when I went back and revisited them as an adult, I remember remember watching A New Hope and thinking, "This is like I don't know that I like this." That was like my initial reaction. Like, I don't like this. This is dumb. You know, this is like very campy. It's very rote. But then, you know, you come to appreciate it as you think about it more. Well, you know, actually, nah, you know what? It's a good movie, and here's why. And you know, and I, you know, so it's just, I think that for the fan base lives, it seems like to me, on social media, on the internet.
Yeah.
And so your initial reaction to something, you could post about something 10 minutes after it comes out on TV.
Oh,
And people do.
We've done live reactions.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the real fucking, it's real time.
And
Us
I just question what's the value of that.
clicks.
I guess.
Yeah, and
you're right.
that's what it all boils down to. You know, your whole
It's-
question about Twitter and everything else. It's all about attention. You
Yeah,
know?
it's marketing. And you know, at that point, like if this was something that we were trying to do for a living, then we'd probably have to do that because that's what the market is. Right. But we don't have to do that. We're doing this because it's fun and we like to do it.
Yeah,
And
because we love Star Wars.
Which, by the way, that's what being a fan is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's by definition. You appreciate something so much that it becomes part of the very fabric of who you are. You become a fan.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is spewing vitriol because they didn't do it the way you somehow in your mind wanted it done, are you really a fan at that point, or are you just looking for a reason to get angry?
And honestly, I think that's what a majority of these are. They're not fans. They're just people that are looking again for that attention online, for their YouTube channels or for their social media.
I mean, it's the other idea of instant gratification, and this idea that, you know, because we have so much choice now, exactly what I want ought to be presented to me when I want it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's going to be some series and some stuff in the Star Wars universe you're probably not crazy about. Look, the New Republic stuff, I mean, don't get me started on that.
Oh, the High Republic?
Or the High Republic, like, don't get me started on that. By and large, I think most of that, the characters have no depth. By and large, there's exceptions. It's hard to get invested in them because there's so many of them.
is.
It's just very hard. There's no central storyline. And so for me, as a fan, it's hard for me to get invested in that. But I'm not like, oh, this is a waste of time. It's horrible. How could, I mean, I look at it and go, dude, this is so cool. We get to go back to that time period and talk about that.
Yeah. So High Republic in particular, like it's because I remember when it first came out, I was like, oh man, a book, and there's nothing else written about.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, oh my,
Clean slate.
Let's fucking see
The
what
clean
this,
slate.
so let's see where this is fucking going, right? And I read that first book and I'm like, God, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of characters, and I'm like, I'm like, okay, it wasn't horrible.
No.
It was, but the only thing that bothered me about it was that they even had to mention Yoda at all. But regardless of that,
But they took him out. He's like disappeared. He's somewhere else. They talk about him. So,
Right.
Which I think was smart because he would have become a central character.
So I think Dave is telling us that we have to take a quick break.
yeah,
Got it.
So
this is the traditional.
yep.
This
So
isn't the OG one. This is the secondary one.
we lost the original. I don't know what the hell happened to it.
It's in this room somewhere.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to take a very quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Nice.
Billy D. Williams in Colt 45.
Billy D.
Oh my God.
Billy D. Billy D. Billy D.
If you need to use the bathroom, you can either piss on the side of the house like Dave is, or I could take you inside.
No, I might as well.
All right.
What do they say when you turn 40, never miss a bathroom?
Yeah. All right. So you want to go? Well, since Dave's using the house, we'll go in. Just forgive the mess.
Everybody left. Where did who go? Oh my God. All right. Remove that. Do that. Do this. Hello. Hello. Yeah, so quiet. So this is the new microphone. Thank you so much to our Patreons. And how's it, how do we sound? How's the new studio setup sound, as it were? We almost had an emergency and had to like panic texting fucking Swede to be like, yo, how the fuck do we make this microphone work? And unfortunately, he was having his own helmet fire trying to find his fucking phone. Thank you. Awesome. So yeah, it's been I'm trying to get used to this thing in front of me. So yeah. It is called. Yeah. All right. It is the Shure SM7 Bravo. It's actually the same exact one that Swede used when he
except for the pink ones, those are Kristen.
when he comes to the studio and he brings his own mic, he was using this one. And honestly, this is the one that almost, like, if you're watching like Rogan or you're watching the Kelsey brothers do their podcast, this is the one that they're using. So ultimately, as we progress along, we'll get these across the board. So that'll be good. Yeah, what do you think? It's quite a.
You guys have leveled up many times over.
It's turned into quite a monstrosity.
That's great.
It's like just having to build the shelves, like taking Jason's original shelves and then like, all right, I'm gonna modify this and then
Did you guys build these yourselves?
No, he had those, and I just built the shelving into it to make them longer.
Is this from the guy that voiced him?
Yeah.
Oh, did you meet him?
My daughter did.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he was out at Penn State.
Great character.
Yeah.
So when we used to tour,
Let me slide by.
I mean, it was we were all Aqua Teen fans, and
Right.
It was like into season 2, so it was. So we
Right when it was right in their prime.
So we got a cup that looked like Shake and the thing, and
Yeah.
drew the face, put the little hands on it, and it sat on our dashboard. And whenever we would play with like bigger bands, I'd take I've got a bunch of pictures saved somewhere on a memory card of me and Shake and a punk rock celebrity like.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, and I would make him react. I would say 50% of them knew Aqua Teen, the other 50% didn't, and they would just. But like Davey Havoc from AFI, guys from Rancid, like.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I think I got one of Lars from Rancid laughing, like with Shake facing him, like they're talking. He's like,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't talked about your other life. Maybe someday we'll get into that.
sure,
But all right, we ready to get back to it?
yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, whenever you're ready, Dave, give us a countdown.
And
And we're back.
we can change that?
I thought there were different videos that were like either 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I don't know.
There's a 30 and a 7.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, don't worry about it. This not the time to get into this.
just completely like what are you talking about? There's a 30-second video. That's the one I click.
All right, then maybe
Okay,
I'm
now
mistaken.
what do I click?
So,
Oh, now we have to stop.
first of all, I've already been admonished just during the break time for not mentioning that Kristen also noticed the guy in the Scout Trooper costume without the helmet.
Yes.
During Jedi last night. But yeah, she did mention after the fact that she saw it as well. So, and I did not mention that, and I've already been lectured.
There you go.
So,
It's a special thing to see that on its 40th.
oh yeah, yeah. And now something else I wanted to ask you guys about. We saw it in the RPX theater, which is something that Regal does, where it's just kind of slightly bigger screen, louder sound. What did you guys think of the RPX experience? I loved it.
Same. I liked it a lot.
I hate that fucking theater.
Ow.
I don't like that theater. So we
The
saw.
specific theater we were in, or Regal, the theater, the whole.
I don't.
chain.
I don't like that theater experience that we were in. So we were we saw Force Awakens there, right? It was our fourth viewing, I think,
Something like that.
of Force Awakens. Like we saw the opening in IMAX.
Yep.
Like we were in line for that, and then we saw multiple opportunities, and one of the ones that RPX theater was like brand new, right? And we were in there, and it was so fucking loud that it was distracting, right? And the vibrating in your ass from the fucking it was just
Yeah, they've got like subwoofers under the seats or
yeah,
something.
it was just too much. Like, and I kind of, and Jason's like, oh, they've toned it back now since then, and it's not nearly as bad. I'm like, okay, that's cool. When we were in there, like the viewing experience, I think was fine. Like as far as the screen goes, like it's comfortable and the screen is fine. I thought the sound was off. I like,
Really?
yeah, I like, for me, like all the sounds felt like it was up front until there was like an explosion or something like that, and all of a sudden it was like under my seat. Like I just felt like the sound, like I don't
Like
know.
it wasn't surround sound kind of
Yeah,
thing?
I just felt like there was too much sound, like sitting. It's sitting in the front, like, and because I'm super like sensitive to the John Williams shit, right? Like I'm
Yeah, I know that's your jam.
yeah. Oh my god, it makes my nipples hard. But so I'm listening to that, and I really like I gotta get into another theater to see this. Right, I think we have till the 6th, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure I get into another theater to see this, just because I'm just going to sit there practically with my eyes closed just to listen to the music, because that's what I want. I want I can visualize this movie. I've seen it enough, right? Well, we all can, with just from the music and what's going on with the music. And I just thought that the sound was off, and it was too loud in places where they just wanted to like, oh, we want you to feel it. Like I don't need to feel it. I just want the sound to be right. So I just that yeah, it wasn't as loud, like, so hooray for that, but
Right.
to me the sound just seemed off.
No, I enjoyed it. And in fact, like they saved the big rumbling parts for just a few scenes. Like when there was a Star Destroyer coming in and Vader's shuttle was coming out, you could really feel the rumble under you. But it was, those moments were few and far between. I thought it was great.
Yeah, but and in that particular thing, right, there was sound like in the front of the theater where I felt like there should have been sound all around us. Like,
So maybe just like for you, it was the surround sound wasn't quite right.
yeah, I just didn't feel like I was immersed in it
Okay.
as much. But the screen, like the screen size and the presentation was, and it was very comfortable. It was a good look. We're so fucking spoiled now with our movie going experience. Like the fact that we were in recliners, right, with an aisle in front of us, where if you needed to go take a piss, like, you can get up and walk. You're not like, excuse me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're so fucking spoiled. It's going to be really hard to have a bad movie going experience. Like, I ate an entire tub of popcorn, right? I had to drink Diet Pepsi, which
Yeah, but at least you didn't have the paper straw. They still had plastic straws.
still had plastic straws.
Yeah. Thank you, Kristen, for that.
Yes, thank you, Kristen.
Clutch.
Yeah.
that was very clutch. Otherwise, I would have had to go into the car to get my my plastic straw.
Ugh, I don't know what I would have done.
Dave keeps the stash.
I have
I can't do it.
buy it off Amazon. I buy the big box, and in my glove box, I have these, and
Smart.
and I get my McDonald's Diet Coke when I drive through to start my commute, and just Put that paper one in a pile for when it goes to the fucking dump so it can degrade faster, allegedly. Anyway, what was I saying? The sound.
Yeah.
The sound.
Yeah. Now, of course, as we expected, this was the most recent version of the special edition. Thankfully, I think Jedi is not too tainted.
I don't know about that. The Jabba's palace.
Oh, the Jedi rocks.
The Jedi rocks. Oh my
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
god.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, I do hate
rough.
that.
Yeah. It was. If I had to, I really wish I had to go to the bathroom at that point.
Have you guys seen the Family Guy Star Wars?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I could, and I haven't seen them in years, but all I could think of watching this was all the Blue Harvest jokes that got
Oh, yeah.
started into it.
Oh yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, dude, like the dun.
Yeah, when we looked at each other,
Yeah.
right? So when they're getting Luke ready into position, it's like dum, 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 dum. And in Family Guy, they just keep doing it over
Yeah.
and over again.
So, and I look over and I look at Jason, and Jason looks back, and Kathy's like, "What? What are you doing?" I'm like, "That's
Because I mentioned on the show recently that every time I see that scene, I always think of Family Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
yeah." There's a couple of different times that Family Guy or Robot Chicken have completely destroyed any any instance, like when the Emperor comes off of the fucking. Like the best scene in Return of the Jedi for me, just the one that just is like, oh my fucking god, you have the sequence where you have all the fucking TIE fighters and shit.
Oh, for Palpatine's entrance.
Yeah, Palpatine's coming
it's
in.
well done scene.
You got everybody's flying around, right? Just excessive fucking. All right, the boss is coming. Let's get everything airborne to fucking fly around, right? This is this show of force. And so you got everything flying. You got the rent-a-crowds all out there for their fucking information. The painting, like I leaned in and told Kathy, like, almost all of those troopers that you're seeing there are painted.
Yeah. And I was watching that too. And it still looks good.
And she was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, those are not people. Those they were painted.
Yeah.
That is a painting."
Yeah, at
You're
least that
looking at.
overhead shot, that far overhead shot.
Yeah.
When it gets closer and you can see them walking down, obviously those
Yeah.
are real people in the background.
But just the seeing that level of detail, and then the fucking music is dun, dun, dun. It's just fucking
yeah.
and then after that it's fucking Palpatine standing at the fucking baggage cart with the fucking thing on it. Damn you, fuck you, stripy bag.
well, and when he's in the throne room, all I can think of, this is like the time the Emperor figured out the secret to great Star Wars dialogue. Something, 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 dark side. Something, 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 complete.
Speaking of Palpatine, when you're watching this on the big screen, the way they did up Ian McDiarmid, like you can really see the details, like his black teeth.
He had to be a young guy when he did that.
Yeah.
Because I saw a picture of him. I don't know if it was for Star Wars Celebration or something, but he had appeared at something recently. Mm-hmm. And he didn't, he's either really well aged or he looks like he's in his early mid 70s.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah, I think he was in his 30s when
really?
he did
Yeah.
Jedi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you notice though that one of those contacts was just slightly off?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, if you look, like it's just something like, because it's so big when you're looking at it, right? You're just, and I just noticed like his eye, he had one eye that was just slightly off.
Maybe
And
that's
I
just
couldn't-
how his eyes look.
No, it's not like that all the time.
And by the way, I was thinking about this watching it on the big screen. The Force lightning, way better in Jedi than in the prequels.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just
It's got more of a realistic look to it.
I mean, it looks painful. It looks
Yeah.
like somebody's
Right.
being electrocuted.
Yeah.
Whereas it looks like a superpower in the.
And you got to kind of wonder how the hell they did that, because they probably superimposed some sort of electrical current onto this, because there was no CG back then.
Dude, ILM in those days was doing shit that was just unfucking real.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yep.
That, by the way, sidebar, the documentary thing that's on Disney Plus.
I need to watch that. I
Totally
haven't seen
fucking
it.
worth it.
I mean, think about this. They're blowing up models. And
Yeah.
there's something you get out of blowing up a model that you just don't get on CGI.
A real explosion. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's a physical thing that you can actually
yeah,
touch.
there's such a huge difference between when something actually explodes. Like, there's dynamics to that action that you can't. It's extremely difficult to duplicate in CG.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing it in front of a real thing. Like, if the whole, you know, on a video game, it's one thing because the entire thing is in the same plane.
Right.
But and it's in a real set, you know, you're not CGI in that thing. You got to really blow some shit up.
Yeah.
There is one scene that actually was lower quality for me because it was on the big screen. So when Han is walking to go to the Forest Moon and Lando's there and they're talking and, you know, he's, I want you to take it.
Oh, yeah,
I want,
yeah.
And you can really tell
You can
it's
really
a painted
tell.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
There's
talk about
the
that
forced
too.
perspective's not great in that shot.
Yeah, they talk about that too because they I think it's in the making of book. They talk about how that scene when they were filming it, it was at a point where a lot of the sets were already starting to be taken down.
Oh.
And so all they had really was just that painting.
Oh, wow.
It's like, okay, this is we're kind of stuck with this. So,
So they just
Make it
green
work.
screened it basically.
well, yeah, and they knew it wasn't great, but that's what they had.
Well, and I only realized it on the big screen. I mean, it's the first time I've realized it, so
Yeah.
it holds up when it goes to TV.
Yeah, and I honestly, since I noticed it because I know about it, right? And once you know about it,
yeah.
you're kind of like, oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, once it's in you, but like again, there's a handful of things like on a big screen where you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see it.
Which you know, and thinking about that, I now understand why some actors don't go and see their movies because the magic for you has got to be, particularly back then. You're like, well, I filmed that. I know that that's a painting behind me, and I can
Yeah.
obviously see that.
Right.
But, you know.
Oh, it's got to be even worse with the prequels because George did everything green screen with the prequels. If you
Well,
watch any of the
green screen, actually, I'd want to go see the movie because all I
Then
could
you
think
actually
of
know
was,
what the fuck you're doing.
I have no idea what I did. I fought something. I'd love to see what it looks like.
right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's what, to me, you know, kind of circling back to like the Mandalorian and, you know, that circular screen that they're doing with the moving aspect of it, where it looks so fucking real because you have actors moving inside a real set with a background that's moving with them. So it's not just a green screen. It's actually like you have this 3-dimensional like pan.
Yeah.
So that you can pan around and you have the entirety of that image around you. There's no seam where this green screen ends and you're losing perspective. And I think it adds an element of realism to what you're seeing in Mandalorian, which is what I mean, honestly, to me, those shows like Mandalorian, Andor, they look like fucking like Hollywood productions.
Oh yeah.
Like those things put that in the movie theater for a few weeks and see how much fucking money that would make.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, man, there's so much they did with, particularly with the Mandalorian, that I mean, just from everything, from the casting. I mean, they wanted the Mandalorian to walk like John Wayne, so they went and got John Wayne's grandson and put him in the suit.
Did they?
Yeah, that's
Oh, shit.
John Wayne's grandson in the suit.
I never heard that before.
Yes.
No, neither did
Well,
I.
I mean, the point is, it's a Western, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Star Wars is by definition, on some level, it's a space Western because it's taken from samurai movies, from what, the 50s and the 60s, right?
Yeah, the stuff
And
that
the-
George
and-
Lucas grew up
And
watching.
the samurai movies were taken from Westerns. I mean, so this is the food chain, so to speak.
Yeah.
So if you look at the first season, in particular the first season of The Mandalorian, I mean, some of those scenes, it's like out of a fistful of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
walk, everything. Which is not John Wayne. That's Dirty Harry. God, use your words, Bob.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. But still, it's the same. You know, it's the same. It comes from the same lineage, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I just think there's so much that I can appreciate out of that series in particular. It's so well done. It was a really great first foot forward for their foray into you know, straight for TV, so to speak, series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, I want to just kind of finish up the Jedi talk real quick. Specifically, the special edition stuff. We had the Jedi rocks, which we talked about, which was trash. I actually liked the changes they made to the Ewoks' eyes. They looked a little bit crazier with the blinking eyes. Because I don't know if you've noticed, because this was one of the more recent things that they did. Because the Ewoks used to just had those big eyes that just never blinked. Now they've got these fucking CG eyes that are like constantly blinking, and they look psychotic, which kind of leans into what we were sort of talking about yesterday with the cannibal Ewoks.
Don't get me started. If you are a stormtrooper who survived the Battle of Endor, think about it. There's no help coming.
Yep.
I mean, and there are stories. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of the people in the Aftermath trilogy is a survivor, crash lands on Endor, and then and then she eventually gets. I don't know if she got picked up by the rebellion or whatever.
Are you thinking Iden from Battlefront 2, Iden Versio? She was the
not her.
Okay.
No, it was. I remember. I know what he's talking about.
I don't know if she got.
Is it the guy?
No, it's the girl. It's the girl. She's the leader of. Where is it? Inferno Squadron? Maybe I'm thinking of. Anyway, here's what I'm getting at: is if you're a survivor of the Battle of Endor, like. The Empire's scattered. There's no help coming. If you're a stormtrooper or whatever down there on planet, you are running through a forest moon that is inhabited by rebels. And if you're not encountering rebels, the inhabitants happen to be pint-sized teddy bears that are cannibalistic.
Yeah.
And you're on the menu. I mean, listen, any person who is a survivor of the Battle of Endor in the Star Wars universe, you get mad props from me. Because there's the amount of PTSD coming out of that.
Oh my God.
Like you just know one of your compatriots gets caught, their lunch.
Yeah.
This is not like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go surrender to the natives. I've got a 60 or 70% chance I don't get executed, and they trade me for food and weapons to the rebellion. It's like nope, 100% chance I'm getting eaten.
Yeah.
Like,
and my helmet, my fucking lid's going to be used as a fucking drum.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You're in a bar 20 years later as a survivor of Endor, right? You see an Ewok walk in, you immediately curl up in a corner, rocking back and forth, just repeating over and over, yub, 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 yub.
Dude, I think we talked about it the other day. The fucking that part of the Battlefront 2, when it came out, they had that you could play either as an Ewok or as a trooper, and it was basically you're on Endor in the dark, being hunted by if you're a fucking stormtrooper and you're being hunted by fucking Ewoks.
Terrifying,
dude. And it came out like it was, I think, the second season of Battlefront 2, something like that, and it was right around Halloween.
Terrifying.
And it was supposed to be only out for a little bit, but it was so fucking popular they kept it on.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be a cannibalistic bear hunting a stormtrooper?
I mean, dude, it's horrifying because I to this day, I don't think I ever had a successful like series as a stormtrooper in that fucking game.
Why should you?
No,
There's no dust off point. The chopper's not coming for you. You're literally got to go to ground.
There's supposed to be there is a pickup point. It's nearly impossible to make it though.
Of course it is.
You only get a flashlight. Like the flashlight you get.
Yeah, they probably don't have night vision in those helmets.
No, and you get a flashlight and it's only charged for like a certain period of time. So like it's kind of like using a stim where the flashlight charges and you get like 10 seconds of light.
Yeah, because think about it. You're not out there, with full pack survival gear for a week. You're on a base. You know, everything explodes. You're grabbing whatever you can and running off. I mean, again, if you are a veteran of the Battle of Endor, I don't care what side you're on. If you're a stormtrooper veteran from the Battle of Endor, that's some hard time, man.
Yeah, you went through some shit.
Yeah, man.
You done did some shit now.
Yeah, you survived the big battle, one way or the other, and then you had to.
I mean, you've legitimately got friends that are digesting inside of small teddy bears,
right? And other people probably, because like, oh, here's our people in the rebellion anyway. Like, oh, we're feasting. Like, I'm not gonna question where this meat's coming from.
Yeah, just don't ask. Just eat it.
Where's the fucking cattle at?
Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
So speaking of the Ewoks, or moving on from the Ewoks' crazy eyes, the thing that I think is the most egregious in all of these additions was Vader going no at the end. I hate that so much because that scene was perfect.
Yeah.
The way it was originally filmed, with Vader kind of looking back and forth at Luke and Palpatine as he's fucking shocking the shit out of Luke, and then just doesn't say a thing, just reaches over, grabs Palpatine and chucks him into the pit there.
I think what it does, and seeing it on the big screen, it was amplified after we had the conversation. You take away from the music.
Yeah.
In that scene.
Yeah, because the
by
music
putting
is
the
telling
no
the
over
story
top
in
of
that.
it. Like, in the sequence when you're watching it without that, it's the crescendo is happening. Like, it's like everything is it's leading to this point where, like, Luke is getting killed. Vader's internally, he knows he's going through this thing. He's kind of looking, and you feel like something's going to happen one way or the other, and then he just reacts. Like, you knew it. You kind of knew it was going to happen anyway. But
Sure.
Like, the music, the scene told the story. Like, we talk about how well, like in Mandalorian, they emote with the helmets on and everything. And I think in this particular sequence, it was like with the helmet and on, it was emoted perfectly. You did not need this overlay of the no. You just didn't need it.
I think it takes away from the ambiguity. When I first saw it, and as I grew up with it, I think when you see that happen, you're required to ask yourself, because there's no dialogue. Okay, well, what's he feeling?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I don't know. Let me put myself in that position for a minute. And this happens rarely in movies. It's very rare that you as a spectator put yourself in the character's role to start to think about, because it's often explained. They're speaking, there's dialogue.
Right.
You don't have to guess it all. It's not ambiguous. But I remember here growing up thinking, okay, if I'm Vader, like, I'm looking at this and how am I going to feel? And then eventually I get to the point where I realize I can't let this stand. And so I do that thing, and it takes the ambiguity out. It takes out, it dumbs it down. It doesn't require you to think and process. It just hands it to you.
And maybe that's why it was done, right? Maybe that's why it was added, because maybe there was some thought that people weren't getting it. Why did Vader suddenly turn? Like, and if that's the case, then I guess people weren't picking up the context clues for the past 45 minutes in the movie. Like, from when Luke was in the fucking, comes out of the AT-AT and has that exchange, and Vader sends him away with the guards, and then he's standing there looking over the guardrail. Again, this is a moment where the scene is telling us that Vader is obviously struggling with the emotion of the moment.
Yeah, you didn't need the dialogue.
Yeah, we're building towards that as we go.
I mean, it's interesting you say that. I wonder also about our perspective now. And here's what I mean by that. We now have we all saw this before the prequels came out.
Yeah.
But now, for many years, it's ingrained in us. We have this perspective of the prequels. We have Obi-Wan to go on now, too.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot more that surrounds the Vader character. And if you read the comic books, there's a huge amount about his backstory.
Yeah,
and, and you realize he's conflicted the whole time. This whole idea of, like, well, he became Darth Vader, and then he was always Darth Vader. You know, Anakin never went away. He's conflicted the whole time. Comic books, everything. And so I wonder how much of that plays into what you're talking about, Dave, which is maybe it is, if all you've got is those three movies, maybe it is hard to understand. You know, I don't know. I'm reaching.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, because I think that there was a lot of what George did with the special editions. I think he was trying to, like, hey, this part of the story maybe wasn't being told as well as I wanted it to be, so now I'm going to add this.
Well, and see, that was not in the original special edition either. Vader going, no. They
wasn't.
added that later.
that wasn't in the 1997 version.
That might have been post Disney buyout, honestly.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'd have to go and do some research as to when that change was made. But
Ooh, is the Blu-ray? You know the Blu-ray editions that came out. It was like in the Tatooine box where you got Anakin on the front.
Yeah.
Was that post Disney? That Blu-ray?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that being said, the no dialogue one is the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously.
100%.
It's
100%.
yeah,
the moment fucking hits. It fucking hits right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, it was still a great experience overall. I'm
dude.
glad we did it. I'd do it again for any Star Wars movie, pretty much.
I before this, I'm going to go see it in another theater again because I want to just, I don't want to even watch the movie. I just want to get the experience with the music one last time in the theater.
Yeah, it was very special to go see it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we never even talked about your
Yeah,
your,
you had a great
your connection
story
with this.
Well, I mean, so my mother... So my birthday's May 5th. So this came out... it came out April... Whatever. When did we go see it? Yesterday. Which
28th.
28th. So it was released on April 28th. So my mother saw Star Wars in the theater, must have been right around the release date before she had me. I mean, she was very pregnant with me. But so... I literally grew up with Star Wars in the womb.
Perfect.
So my mother was in Florida, or else I would have taken her.
Yeah.
So, but it was good to see it. I was thinking that same scene, the Vader scene where he throws the Emperor over, when he gets his hand cut off. Mm-hmm. One of the thoughts I had on the big screen was, it just looks so good. You see the wiring and everything,
Yeah.
where CGI wouldn't have been that good.
No,
It wouldn't have been
no.
that good, but that looks so,
Yeah.
it's just so good.
Yeah, you say that.
Because you can get close up with that stuff because it's real.
Yeah, because it's real.
Yeah.
Because it's
got-
really there.
Yeah, it's got so much detail in there.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I guess I look at with that, it's a very Dave thing, is all right. I know that hand, like that arm, is a little bit longer than it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
God, Dave, stop doing that. Like I internally, I'm screaming at myself because yes, it does look good because of the effect.
Like you get
because they're
zoom
adding the
in,
real effect to it.
the wires there's a little bit of smoke coming out of it.
Like when shit like Luke, he's sitting in the X-wing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. They're coming off of fucking
From Tatooine.
from Tatooine.
Because, when he got shot in the hand.
Right. And so he's sitting there and he's flying the X-wing, and he goes and he puts the glove on, and you see that motion in his hand. That's fucking perfect. I've seen that hand, by the way. They had it on the Franklin Institute display I
cool.
went and saw in 2008 or something.
Yeah.
But and so they had it on display, and you could see like all the fucking little mechanisms in there. How that that was seamless.
Yeah.
Absolutely seamless. And it was perfect, and it was real. Mm-hmm. Like it was perfect, and that's why I think having real shit in a movie is important. Which I was watching Celebration, right? Celebration. I was watching, and they had an Indiana Jones interlude, right? They had all the cast of the new Indiana Jones out there, except for Harrison Ford, obviously.
He's too good for that.
Right. And the one guy had made mention about something about using the round. It's called what they use in the Mandalorian, and the screen thing. And the director was like, "No, all our shit was real." Like he dropped the S-bomb in Celebration.
That's
He's like,
great.
"No, all our shit was real." So in that Indiana Jones movie, it's going to be all real sets and shit like that. So
I'm excited.
it
now.
adds, dude. Seeing the preview, like again, talking Indiana Jones, but like, I am a like. There's these extra Indiana Jones movies that I didn't want to exist.
Oh yeah,
I
Young Indiana Jones and all those.
Yeah. But this is one that I feel like I'm going to have to see.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
So far the previews have looked really good. I mean, we know John Williams is doing the score.
And I was just going to say that. Isn't this now John Williams' final act?
Yeah.
Where it was supposed to be Rise of Skywalker, and I was like, he'll do Indy now too.
And John Williams is doing the score. Harrison Ford's actually going to be doing shit in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
just like
He broke his arm making that movie.
Yep.
yeah. I love that idea. I love that, like, just like Michael Keaton in the fucking the Flash. Like, I would have had zero interest in the Flash at all, except Michael Keaton Batman is going to be doing shit in it. Mm-hmm. I'm curious just for that. Am I going to suffer? Probably.
It's DC. You're gonna suffer.
I'm going to suffer. Jason made me sit through fucking Batman versus Superman.
I did.
God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Martha.
The best.
Why did you say that name?
The best part about that movie was Amy Adams in the fucking tub. Other than that, it was fucking garbage fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that Michael Keaton's actually doing shit in it, though, because Michael Keaton Batman, I love that movie.
Yeah.
that was
That's
a
what
great
we grew up
Batman.
on.
So, but even watching the previews, I think there's going to be way too much shit going on in that movie. Way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of those where just because you can do a thing, you probably shouldn't.
Yep.
And I know that, but I'm gonna go. This
story-
motherfucker's probably going to have me sitting next to him, going
Yeah.
like, "God damn it, I can't believe I'm sitting here."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
I'm seeing. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Flash. I'm sorry, but
I've been hurt too many times.
I'm like the abused girlfriend who's like, oh, he'll change this time. this time it'll be different.
Yeah. Nope.
It's DC.
Yeah.
It's DC.
But yeah, to that end, I think having the real effects of those things and having those real elements that we have, watching in Return of the Jedi, ultimately is why it holds up, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting here watching this movie. We're watching matte paintings with real effects of them blowing shit up. Now, there a couple things that were a little bit off. Yeah.
Well, sure. I mean, it's still, you got to remember, it's 1983.
Every one of those, well, think of the space sequences, like there's no fucking wires. You didn't see anything that was out of place.
Nope.
Right? You had spaceships flying in and out of each other. The sequence where you're flying into the fucking Death Star, going through there.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
It was absolutely amazing.
The scene that I really took note of, seeing it on the big screen, was the speeder bike chase scene with Luke and Leia and the scouts. Well, the sounds, and when they would go into first person view, and you're zipping through the trees, I'm like, that looks awesome on the big screen.
Yeah, I remember in the making of, they were talking about how they did that, and they just they literally just sped the film up to get that element, and that scene is where I went back to 8-year-old Dave, like seeing it in the theater for the first time, like hearing those sounds, like distinctly remembering that, like those sequences with, even before that, like I had my internal flashbacks with the Rancor, first time seeing the Rancor.
Yep.
Like I had little kid Dave was back in that kid, the one in that picture that's dressed up as Luke Skywalker, that's that kid was back in the movie theater, packed on a fucking opening weekend, just like, oh my God. When seeing the Rancor, hearing the fucking speeder bikes going whipping through and shit like that, I was just like, oh my God, this is why in the theater I have to fucking see it.
Yeah. So yeah, as much as we bitch and complain about the special edition stuff, all that aside, it's still great getting
on the
that
on the big
experience.
screen. All that shit
100%.
goes away.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to move away from Return of the Jedi? Any last words? I am curious how it's going to do at the box office for the overall weekend. I'm curious to see if it'll crack the top 10 or the top 5.
It wasn't packed when we went and saw it.
Yeah.
Well, it was what,
All the best seats were taken, but
Yeah.
Friday on a
at 3 p.m.
at 3 p.m.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
curious
good
what the
point.
weekends are like.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll be paying attention, and I'll report it next time we do the show.
Oh, I did. The only other thing I wanted to bring up was the, and it's, again, this is a Daveism, but so you're watching Papa Palpatine, right? He's sitting in his chair, fucking nice view of utter blackness, right? And again, Robot Chicken ruining the scene for me, right? Where he's sitting there, and and you walk in and Palpatine's all annoyed. Like, I thought I told you to stay on a fucking ship. Hey, Crayola, get in here with your staff or rod. Fucking get this. Anyway, the stars are going by, right? Whenever Palpatine's and you're looking out over his viewport, right? The stars are going by, and
Which makes sense.
does it?
Well, you would think that the Death Star would have a rotation.
Yeah.
Gravity, you know?
You would think. However, whenever you see it, it doesn't.
Eh.
It looks like it's tidally locked with Endor when it's like when you see it. And the other problem I have with it is the stars are moving, but the fleet is not.
Interesting.
So I'm wondering, like, what rotation, like, if it's tidally locked, is the entire planet, are we looking at the entire planet's rotation? And if that's the case, then it's rotating pretty fucking fast. Like, I'm probably at some point going to end up doing, like, trying to figure out the orbital mechanics to actually
don't
do
forget,
the math.
I mean, Death Star's got its own propulsion.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah, but why would it be moving if it's tidally locked with a planet? I mean, once it gets into an orbit, it would just...
No idea. Well, maybe not. I mean, depending on how long the days and nights are on the forest moon, maybe they have regular 24-hour standard orbits so that nobody's, all messed up.
Yeah, well, it did say they were going to meet at 0300 and it was still light out.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, good point.
It is something that throws me off.
Yeah. So who knows?
Again, a whole other podcast episode in and of itself.
Yeah,
is
right.
Researching because
I was just watching again. The beauty of the big screen is like something like that suddenly is like, instead of being here, is all of a sudden like that.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the stars go by and I'm like, that shouldn't be happening.
Well, did you notice every time you would see people approaching the forest moon or the Death Star, there was a big red planet in the background? Mm-hmm. Like, what planet is that? Is that the one with the wreckage ends up on for episode 9?
Is that the planet that Endor is a moon of?
Right. Yeah. Because it's the forest moon of Endor.
We've been on that planet. It's in a video game.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Huh. All right.
I remember it.
Either way,
I don't know.
But
anyway,
again, that's
some fucking nerd. I ordinarily I'd ask a helmet fire because that's his
sphere of expertise.
Yeah, he's a space guy. It's going to take me a while to do that fucking math.
Look, you hear explosions, things actually explode, and then the Death Star sinks onto a planet. None of these actually would happen in real space.
Oh no.
So
No.
you're watching a space opera.
I know.
You're not
I
watching.
know.
Yeah, okay.
we are Jason and I argue about this. Well, not argue, but it's just me with my suspension of disbelief. Like fucking, just I'm fighting internally with my suspension of disbelief.
100%.
Just like
I get it. I feel you.
But I spent about 35 seconds sitting there trying to figure out the orbital mechanics of the Death Star and why it was moving and the fleet wasn't. So anyway, these are the things. You know out there. You know that Dave is a fucking crazy person.
Yes, 100%. All right. Well, let's move away from that and move to the main reason why you wanted to come here today, Bob.
Oh.
As we're getting towards the end of the show, and that's next week. You and I and 2 other of your friends are going down to Batuu.
Yeah.
And we're gonna spend some time on the Galactic Starcruiser.
Yeah, so I'm turning 40 on May 5th. So they have a May the 4th cruise in the Galactic Starcruiser. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's a hotel at Disney World in Orlando. Do they have one in California too?
They don't have the hotel. They just have the
Batuu.
park.
Yeah. And it is a 100% like 48-hour immersive experience. So you check in at 1 in the afternoon on the 3rd. And you are, from the minute I've done this with my wife before. We went back in the fall, in the summer, and you walk in through those. You get onto the van, you walk in through the doors, and you are on basically a large cruise line space star cruiser. Every window, every portal in that place looks out on another galaxy. And then your first day there, you check in, and you grab dinner, and then the second day they take you down to Batu, and even the van you get into for them to drive you through the park to get to Batu is a shuttle. And you get back in and you go back on the Starcruiser and you have dinner, and then you're out at I think checkout's like at 11 the next day. But there's a whole storyline that runs through the whole time you're on there. And the really cool part about this is you can get as into it or as not into it as you want to. Like when I went the first time, there were people that they had no interest in basically LARPing, live action role playing Star Wars.
Right.
They just wanted to be immersed and enjoy themselves, and that was fine. And then there were people that got really into it, and every single member of the staff will get into it and play along with you. Every single member is there like to enhance your experience. There's a sublight lounge, like a cantina, a bar where you can hang out till like 12 at night. And it's a ton of... For 48 hours, you're in a different planet. It's just a ton of fun. Something I will tell you, without spoiling too much for anybody who's gone, is, or who hasn't gone, is I think Disney's done a really good job with this. I'm going to tell you why. When we got on, when my wife and I were going to board, you're in line, you see all sorts of people. Some people are dressed up, some people aren't. There was a family. It was a mother, a father, and a child who was probably maybe 8 or 9. And the father and the son looked like they both had the same physical affliction. The son had to have like a walker. His back end sort of stood out more and his legs were sort of grasshoppered. And the father looked like he had sort of the same thing, although he could walk on his own with a cane. And so this kid was, had a lot of special needs getting around, but he could sort of walk on his own with the walker.
Sure, yeah.
And as we were on, as the sort of days unfolded, there's a storyline that unfolds on the ship, and you can take part in it. You can choose different sort of paths. You can gravitate towards certain people on the ship, and they will send you out on super secret double probation missions and
Secret mission in uncharted space.
yeah.
Let's go.
And one of the characters is, the first, this doesn't give away too much. The First Order boards the ship. They got to get them on there at some point, right?
Yeah,
Right.
They show that
Yeah,
in
they
like
show
the
that.
previews for this.
And the main First Order character is a lieutenant. And, he's the bad guy, so not a lot of people hang out with him around the ship. But he plays it up. The guy who did the lieutenant was perfect. British accent, played it up,
Because the British are the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
As
I was
should
playing
be.
sort of a scoundrel at that point, and he came up and was like, I need information. I was like, well, information, Lieutenant, costs money, and or costs credits. And he said, do you know what else costs credits? Do you see these 2 blasters that my stormtroopers had? I was like, I do. He's like, those also cost credits, and they work very well. I was like, damn, you're good, man. Like, yeah, props to you, dude. Like, so anyway, this kid, for whatever reason, was drawn towards that lieutenant, and he had this kid in the mix the whole time. And as a parent, as a new parent, you wonder, like, man, I'm having kids, anything can happen. You could have a kid that ends up being, what kind of life are they going to have? All this went through my mind. My daughter was about a year old, and I watched the parents look at this kid having the time of his life. And you could just see the joy that was in their eyes. And this guy playing the lieutenant had this kid through the whole thing. This kid was like center stage. And, for 48 hours, that kid probably forgot everything that was making his life difficult.
Yeah.
And so I tip my hat to Disney because they've done a great job with this. So I'm going back. I'm going back because it's freaking May the 4th and my birthday is May 5th. And and I'm turning 40, and where the hell else would I go?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like this is a missed opportunity if I don't.
Right, yeah.
And so so I've got 2 of my really good friends. Well, 3, but you all know Jason.
Yes.
So 2 of my other really good friends, a buddy of mine, Bert, and his son, Hunter. Both of them are military. Bert's retired 82nd Airborne. Hunter is now in the 82nd Airborne, and Jason's retired military.
Yep.
And so, in keeping with that theme, I thought we got to go in with a storyline. There's 4 of us. Like, we got to go in we got to go in with a story and a persona, and we got to do this right.
Yeah,
Right.
this was the best part.
So I do a lot of relief work in Sierra Leone, West Africa, and I've been going back and forth from there for 15 years, and it's a third world country. And my friend Bert was really when I first started going. You sort of wanted to take somebody whose head is on a swivel. It's not like the safest place in the world. Now it's gotten a little bit better. But I used to take Bert with me because he was retired military. Like, he's not carrying or anything. You just want somebody who's like, look, if something happens, I'm not military. I want somebody there who's going to know what you do. And so Bert came with me several times, and we've gotten into all sorts of interesting adventures in a third world country. Including having to bargain with the authorities to get my cousin on a plane. We won't go into that.
Kind of sounds like some stuff we had to deal with in our flying days as well.
Yeah. So anyway, I was talking to Bert. I'm like, yeah, man, we got to do a persona. He's like, well, what are we gonna do? I was like, I got it. All right, you three are all former military or current military. You're all former stormtroopers.
Yep.
We're all former stormtroopers, and I'm going to be, I said, I'll be a senator, and so I did some research. So there's a planet, you guys can go on Wikipedia, called Phrygia. So Phrygia is where is a water planet, but it's not very much inhabited, so it's pretty much all human. And there's a corporation on there called the Incom Corporation. And so Incom is the people that make a lot of the freighters, but they also created the X-Wing. So
Okay.
Incom researched the X-Wing, then it got stolen by the rebellion. Well, what happened was a bunch of engineers left and took the plans with them. And there was some question because Incom was selling a lot of stuff to the Empire.
Right.
Like, did they leave or did Incom just somehow get them out of there with the plans? Like, very convenient.
Right.
So, and that's kind of it. So there's enough like to sink your teeth into, but enough that you can kind of build your own story. So the backstory is like, I'm like, well, I don't know that I want to be the good guy this time around. Cause I think I was like a smuggler the last time and I did sort of the scoundrel thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a galactic senator from the Galactic Empire. Mm-hmm. And then when the Empire was dissolved, I went back to being the CEO of Incom. And then, surprise, I did such a good job, the people reelected me when the New Republic came. Look at how that works out.
That's amazing.
And you know what? There's a lot of veterans these days out there, a lot of veteran stormtroopers. They need a home. They deserve to be able to build a life just like anybody else in this new republic of ours. So my office has been very instrumental in getting a lot of these stormtroopers through that rehabilitation program and employing them right on Incom where they can build their lives, start to build some of the machinery that's going to run this galaxy.
This is not a rehearsed speech at all.
And it just so happens that I'll be on the Chandrilla storyline with three of my bodyguards,
Private security
for the next 3 days. As a senator, one has to take the proper precautions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the best part about this is like, because Bert and I have been in so many freaking jams together, you can sit at a table and it's like, yeah, remember that one time in Salome when we had to bargain your cousin off with the thing? Well, there's another piece to this though, and that is, I'll say this, and it's not, look, Bert and Hunter and you, Jason, you're all Star Wars fans, and you guys all, spend a lot of time serving this country, and I'm really I find it really awesome that I get to take three veterans with me onto a cruise, like to do something that they're big fans of. Like I think it's really cool. So that's kind of the backstory. I've got like a really nice you know what I did? I found the Dryden Voss costume. So that's like my when we go to Batu, I'll wear something else, but when we're on the Chandrilla Starline, that's like my senator's outfit. Because I figured, like, It's sleek. Like, it's black. It's sleek.
Right.
You look like a corporate raider CEO.
Yeah.
But of course I'm not. I no longer have any business interest in it. I've sold all my stock. I own no more shares. I no longer hold a position in the company. But I'm very happy and honored to now represent Phrygia, a planet which is contributing mightily to the regrowth of our new galactic republic.
Again, this is
brilliant.
not a practice speech at all.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get down there, and then they take you to Batu on the second day, and you spend the whole day running around the park. And the cool part about this is you get to go at 8 o'clock. The first shuttle to go to Batu, the Black Spire outpost, leaves at 8. So I think you get the run of the park for an hour and a half before anybody gets in.
That's
Yeah, which, because I've always heard that, especially the Rise of the Resistance, like if you try to just wait in line for that on a normal day, it's just like 2+ hours.
No, so the schedule's tight. So the way I figure we do it is you get in there, and what you do is you go to the Millennium Falcon, take your picture before anybody else gets in front of there, so it's just you, before a bunch of chuckleheads get into the park. And then you go do the Millennium Falcon ride, and then you go do Rise of the Resistance, and you knock them out. Go build a lightsaber down at Savi's workshop, and then go to Oga's Cantina and grab a drink and just hang out there. And then you can walk around, and then you've nailed everything you have to do. So at that point, you just appreciate the park the whole day and just walk around. And it's a really well done place too. I mean, it's like the aging, the weathering.
That's what I've heard. I mean, our friend John, our mutual friend John, who we used to fly with, he's been there, and he said it's like there's a lot of little detail that is just. I mean, let's face it, it's Disney, right? This is what they do.
They excel.
Yeah,
in this area.
When my wife and I were there last time, we went down in costume. So I give my wife a lot of credit. She's a Star Wars fan, but not like we are. I mean, this is not. And I was like, can we dress up? She's like, yeah, absolutely. She went out and got her costume, did it. So we just looked like, normal people. I had boots, green, like tight military pants, and a shirt and a vest, like the Han Solo vest, and a scarf, and but we looked good. I'll tell you how good we must have done based for $100 on Amazon. And this I give the people in Black Spire Outpost a lot of credit. So you will see First Order people. Kylo Ren runs around there occasionally, but there's stormtroopers that run around there because it's supposed to be under occupation.
Right.
And the stormtroopers occasionally will stop and interact with the public, let me see your ID, this and that. Those stormtroopers looked at us, made a beeline for us, and they're like, let me see your identification. I was like, identification. So I tried to play it off with them. They gave it right back. Hands over your head, turn around. I'm like, damn, you guys are good. And there's people gathering, and I'm like, uh-oh. They think we're part of the park. Uh-oh.
So this was in the park, not even on the ship?
Yeah,
okay.
because it was about 10 or 11 o'clock in the afternoon, so the Gen Pop had come in, and I'm like, uh-oh.
What's...
Yeah.
Here
Then,
we go. I guess I'm getting some inside baseball here.
Yeah.
And so anyway, when that finished, I had several people walk up and go, do you know where this is? I'm like, I don't actually work here. I'm not actually, I don't work here. But
go get your name badge.
Yeah, right. But but they do a lot of, there's the ship itself, the rooms, everything is just so freaking well done. As another example, we took our mistake. I decided to take an hour break. This is a tiring experience, by the way. You're going to need a day to recover.
Oh, boy.
Because there's so much stuff to do, and you can't do everything. FOMO is a real thing on this trip, so you just kind of got to roll with it.
Right.
My wife and I decided we got back from Black Spire Outpost and decided to take a break for an hour before we went and did something else on the ship. So we're in our room, and in your room, you have your window looks out into the galaxy. Occasionally you'll see, a ship go by, or a planet, and when you're in hyperspace, that's all you see is hyperspace.
Right.
So at one point, I saw, First Order ships, And I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. Like on the playthrough of whatever on here, there's First Order ships. That's really interesting. And then as I'm laying on the bed, you suddenly hear like, I'm like, no shit, that's not a playthrough. We're actually getting boarded. Holy crap.
Wow,
And so
that's
like
so
I walk
good.
out of my room and there's freaking troops boarding the ship. You're like, God, you guys are good.
That's awesome.
So good.
Oh man,
Yeah.
just looking forward to it more and more now.
Well, and because this is a May the 4th thing, it'll probably be sold out. So you're talking like 300 people on the ship.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are going to dress up, do first person. So that means it's always funner when you have people to play off of.
Oh yeah.
And I think what we're doing is so unique that like my plan, like once we get on there, is to go to the Sublight Lounge, grab a table in the corner, set up a sabacc game, and just let people approach you and be like, you know, if anybody gets too handsy, like I've got bodyguards.
Yeah, no, I'll be like, oh, what's your business with the senator? You know.
And the best part is, I guarantee you, the people that are part of the cast will play that up. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like wholeheartedly.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to just being a smart ass bodyguard, you know, just like make room for the senator, make room, you know. I was gonna buy like a long staff because we can't take blasters in, right? That's one of the rules.
No blasters.
So I was gonna have like some,
lightsabers, but no blasters.
yeah. So like see if they'd let me bring in like a long staff and you can like clear a hole for
I'd
the.
be careful doing that. I think you just hang out and look imposing. I think you'll do just
yeah.
fine. I think the minute you start putting hands on people,
Well,
this is
yeah, I wouldn't
probably-
actually touch anybody,
this,
but
this is probably gonna, but yeah. So it'll be. I can't wait, man. You know, I couldn't think of a better place to spend my 40th. I
yeah.
really couldn't. And yeah, May the 4th. I hear they do some fun stuff in the park too, in Black Spire.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to figure out whether we want to stay late and try and like.
Yeah, hopefully we can get
participate.
some intel as to what they might be planning.
Yeah, I'm gonna search around.
It's got to be fucking good. I mean,
'Cause-
it's an anniversary year for one of their fucking major films, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
for Return of the Jedi.
So it's, I don't know. I just feel like it would be.
Yeah, because I think it was.
Mark Hamill shows up.
Oh my god, that would be incredible.
Be awesome.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Dude, that Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
fucking bit that he's doing with
With,
Cal, training for the fucking the video game.
Yeah.
He's like, Mark, you know I'm not a real Jedi. As he's throwing the fucking popcorn at him.
And then he's playing the game. No, you gotta use the Force. Don't tell me about the Force.
You didn't give me 2 lightsabers. I thought that was really fucking good.
Yeah, he was great. So yeah, so what are we like 3 days away from leaving? 4?
Yeah, Wednesday, right?
Wednesday morning.
Yeah, today's Saturday, so
Get
oof.
down there at like 11. Just enough time to throw everything on a cab and go to Star Wars.
Oh man.
Lucky bitches.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I know there's people going in full Mando armor. You're not allowed to wear helmets, by the way, in Black Spire. You can wear them on the thing, but on the Halcyon, but you can't wear them at Black Spire. I guarantee you'll see people as Twi'leks. Like there's people that do the full body makeup.
Oh man.
I would bet you see 1 or 2.
I hope it's not fucking 93 degrees down there and
No,
all
it's
that
gonna
makeup.
be like 70 or something.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's
Oh,
nice
wow.
actually. It's pretty nice.
Because I have a backup outfit for when we go out to
To Black Spire.
yeah, just in case it's a pretty cool Star Wars themed
Nice.
Hawaiian shirt. It's
Nice. Nice.
I think you'd like it. You'd approve.
Nice. Nice.
But
I mean, what my wife and I did is took like a backpack, and we just threw like a change of clothes in there, and we were like, if it gets really hot, we'll just
Right.
get out of this stuff.
because I'm gonna be in my black armor, so you know.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna be fine. And the nice thing is, there's enough inside stuff that you know you can hop into air conditioning. It'll be
Yeah.
all right. And you know what? Here's the deal: if it gets too bad, you just hop back on the shuttle, and they take you back to the hotel, and there's plenty of things you can do there.
Yeah, which I would imagine is nice and air conditioned in there, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's very the temperature control is pretty good. So, and of course, I thought I would get away with I own every Legacy lightsaber that they've made. I have a problem.
look who you're talking to. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yeah,
maybe
we can
not so bad.
we can appreciate your problem.
Yeah. I have an issue. My name is Bob. And I'm an addict.
Yeah. Hi, Bob.
Hi. And
Yeah,
so
don't look at my TIE Fighter collection at home.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, it doesn't look like they're releasing any new lightsabers because the last time I was there a couple of years ago for May the 4th, they released the Ahsoka Tano lightsabers from Mandalorian and Rebels. Mm-hmm. And Ashley Eckstein apparently was there and signed them. So I've got a signed case with her signature on it. But
Crazy.
so I thought, okay, I was looking on the internet. They haven't really released anything. A couple interesting May the 4th things, but like nothing like that. And I thought, cool, I'm going to go to the park. They already have plenty of my money, so they're not getting any more out of me for stuff like that. Like I'm just going to be able to go and appreciate and enjoy the food and the atmosphere and be with friends. And they released a Cal Kestis double-bladed lightsaber and a BD4. So yeah, they're gonna get my money again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disney's good about that.
They're really good about that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the BD1 fucking Lego.
Or BD1, yeah.
I want that BD1 Lego.
Yeah.
Is it like full size or?
Yeah,
It's like it's like
Hey!
It's like it's like him. It's like his size.
Yeah.
You know, or a little bit taller even.
They have I have the Millennium Falcon Lego, the Millennium Falcon Lego.
Yeah.
That thing's no joke.
God,
That thing is
I want it so bad.
it's huge.
I have no place to put it.
No, I was gonna get that. I asked for that for Christmas. My wife got it for me, and then I asked for the Star Destroyer. I asked for both of them. Right after I put the Millennium Falcon together, she said, "I'm looking for the Star Destroyer." I was like, "Don't worry about it."
It's just
like I don't know where I would put this thing.
It would end the Falcon would end up. Oh my god!
Wait.
I okay. So there's an edict at my house. Right, I can only display so much Star Wars stuff at the house. That's why
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I have.
That's why the
sacred Jedi pops.
are all here.
Yes. Well, besides the fact that they look great here, I mean, it's really my office downstairs is like it. All of my military shit is on the walls. So if I added all Star Wars shit also to that space, like you wouldn't be able to move around. Like it just.
So
Yeah, I see. That's how I feel. But my wife, on the other hand, anyway. So I have one like shelf about yay tall, and
you can find another wife.
No, I can't. I love my wife. She's the best.
I understand.
I would never do that.
I'm just saying. I mean, if she has a problem with Star Wars, there are other people out there.
She went and she enjoyed Return of the Jedi with us. And
She seemed very nice when I met her. I mean, she seemed great.
Yeah,
So I'm sure it's just that you've got to figure out the right way to reason through this to convince her to let you.
I feel like if I had more opportunities to put more shit out, then I would buy more shit, and then I'd run out of even more space.
Well, no, then you put an addition on it, you buy a bigger house or something, or cannibalize the garage. The dining room, you don't really need that. Who uses a dining room anymore?
Oh, we don't have a dining room.
Okay,
We've
well-
already converted it to something else.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, living room's got to have room.
I'd kick out the in-laws.
Do you
Use
have
their room.
kids?
No, they're
Living at
moved
the
out.
house? They
They're
moved
moved
out.
out,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you've got their room.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. We're gonna move on from that. Anyway,
Before we get Dave in trouble.
there's a lot of fucking TIE fighters. I have an entire shelf of just the Lego TIE fighters and everything else. I have a small section of the Millennium Falcon. Like, have you messed with the micro series at all?
No, I really haven't.
They're for the cost, for the price point, they're actually like
I mean,
super
the
deep.
tie looks great.
These guys.
Well, I was talking about the Lego tie looks great.
This one, I love this guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Man down.
No, these guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, those are. It's a new thing that they're selling, and it's not Hasbro.
No.
It's some other company that that they've actually licensed out.
Yeah, so this we're gonna have the trench run is gonna be hanging here.
Oh,
Great. Once I get the X-wing.
That's great.
I have a TIE fighter fetish.
Well, I mean, you're in the Air Force. This makes sense, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I
goes back to the X-wing versus TIE fighder game, right?
Well, no, the TIE fighter specific one.
Oh, okay.
Like the X-wing versus TIE fighter wasn't as good as the TIE fighter game. The old you put the floppy disks in, and
Yep.
that game was the best. But where was I going with that? Oh, so I do have a shelf of Millennium Falcons because I had a die cast Millennium Falcon like back in, I don't know, 83 time frame, and I've over the years it got lost. And my cousin Rick, who's a friend of the show, represented by by the He-Man. There's a picture up there. You have to see it before
I'll
you
take
leave.
a look at it.
Yeah, it's me and my cousin when Return of the Jedi came out. He found one at a toy store, like at a shop actually where Jason has gave them a lot of business for Black Series figures. So I have that, and I have one of those Micro Series models, and the Falcon is the detail is phenomenal. It's very, very good for the size, and they've done everything. Like I have the Slave One one as well. Like they're just very, very nicely done, and they're cheap. So if I had the Lego Millennium Falcon, I'd probably keep it at the house, and I'd have to probably suspend it from the ceiling because I have a tie and an X-wing on the ceiling now. Because my daughter had my excuse was my daughter has a tattoo of a tie and an X-wing. So see, I raised her right.
You raised her. You raised her. Right.
Now my wife would disagree with that, but she's 100%. Like she's in the right spot.
No, I mean, obviously, she was brought up with good, strong foundational morals.
Exactly. I would 100% agree.
Yeah.
But if I had the Falcon, it would have to. I think I'd suspend it from the ceiling. Just a nice cut like this.
Man,
get it lit. Put the light kit in it.
I have the light kit in mine. Oh, it's sweet.
Oh my god,
pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
All right. Hopefully, Kathy's not listening.
You can come over and take a look at it just so you can measure it. Now, I'm not saying you would build it and display it, but if you wanted to measure it to see maybe where hypothetically it could go, you're welcome. I'm totally happy to let you do that.
Yeah, we should do that. Just hypothetically.
I mean, if should the opportunity
just
arise.
open that door just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Not all the Millennium Falcons are like huge.
Yeah,
I mean, the best ones are.
Right, and why should you settle for anything less?
Right. I mean, you want to get the small one when the big one's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but the little one's cool too. You can have both. Then it'd be like perspective.
You could, yeah.
Perspective shot.
You know what? That'd be great.
I like that.
Yeah, you could do a lot with that.
Man, I'm getting myself in a lot of trouble right now.
You get the little one for when you've got the background shot.
Yeah.
Far out, and then when you need to do the close up with the detail, you've got the big one.
Yeah.
Kathy's about to give a new edict. You're not allowed to talk to him anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I like where this is going. I like this Bob guy. He's got a lot of good ideas. I don't know. Let me scroll through the chat here and make sure she's not in there. I don't see her, so we're good. Anyway, what are we doing? What's next?
So that's anyway. Back to Starcruiser. That's
right.
That's our thing. And I like that. I know Bert's got his stormtrooper backstory from where he served. So he's an Endor veteran.
Oh,
he was
boy.
part of the Emperor's Legion.
Beautiful.
And then what was it? Then he got out, did Corsair security work, and then had an incident with a Twi'lek women of leisure, and now he contracts.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
So Hunter's a veteran of the Battle of Jakku and does not want to go back no matter what. He's like, oh, Imcom Corporation, job, money, don't go back to Desert Planet. This sounds like a good place.
Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
Not him. whenever you can. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your service record's like, Jason, but that's
All right.
that's their service record.
So I have my backstory, my pre-Stormtrooper, and how I became a Shadow Trooper,
Okay.
like all mapped out, but not much like post-Empire Fall. So I'm gonna have to get that.
Is it Death Trooper or Shadow Trooper?
Shadow
They're
Trooper.
different things.
Yeah, because the Death Troopers are these guys, this guy on the left here that's loose
Yep.
that you saw in Rogue One. I'm more of a Shadow Trooper, which is this guy, which is the Stormtrooper, just in the black, but not with the blue
What's
highlights.
their background? Like, what's their deal?
Well, that's their Shadow. They do stealth-like missions. It's more
okay,
like
yeah.
Black Ops kind of
Got
thing.
it. Got it.
And basically I'm from Nar Shaddaa, because it's one of my favorite planets in Star Wars.
It's a good one.
Taken by the Empire as a teenager when I got caught stealing, but they liked my my abilities, my stealthiness, and they gave my parents an ultimatum: either we execute him right now, or you sign him up to be a stormtrooper. Became a shadow trooper. My short stature, made it easy for me to be stealthy. So that's why I became a shadow trooper instead of a stormtrooper. I'd have been a little short for a stormtrooper. So
Nice.
Nice.
I like that.
Well played.
Yes.
I had heard from somebody that when they went on the cruise, they did it like veteran. I want to say they were veteran ISB or something. They had like, it was really interesting the way they did their costume. They were civilian, but they had like just one piece that showed them to be like a veteran that they were wearing. Apparently, the lieutenant walked right on, knew their rank, knew where they served. I was like, damn, really?
Holy shit.
The guy was in a Facebook group. He's like, yeah. Guy walked right up and was like, Captain, we are so honored to have you on board. Thank you very much for your service. I was like, damn. Which is cool, because that means the people on cast are fans.
Yeah.
This is and zooming out again, this is what I think is really great about going forward for Star Wars is because it's generational, the people whose hands it's in now, they're all fans.
Yeah.
Like when you see the interviews of the people who are dealing with Star Wars now at Disney, they're all fans.
Yeah, your Favreaus
Like,
and
by large,
Filoni's.
but even the people under them, it's like people who grew up with this, and so like that's why, regardless of what you think about Disney inheriting Star Wars, what it's done, what it's gonna do, I've got a lot of faith, and I'm excited because ultimately it's in the hands of fans, and I think, God, what other series is in that kind of position?
Yeah, not even Marvel, really.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
Star Wars is very unique.
Marvel's that title that they just wrung completely out, I think. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's fans over there too, but it's just different. It's a different thing because Star Wars was a movie first.
Yeah.
It was visual and it was music and it was sound. Marvel was comic books. It's just like you come from a different space.
yeah.
Yeah, and from the beginning too, Star Wars was always this separate, living, breathing galaxy that you like after 100 viewings of the movies, you felt like you knew this galaxy.
And
then this. I mean, like
The sacred Jedi text.
so you had all of this even before the Disney buyout, but you had all this material. Like, oh man, you could so immerse yourself into everything that was going on in that galaxy, and your imagination was unlimited. There was so much story.
And now you are going to get to immerse yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I cannot wait.
So it's I'm an optimist. I'm a Star Wars optimist.
Yeah.
I am.
Which we need more of those, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I think like I said last week, I'm in a position where I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to enjoy it. Like,
should.
Not everything's going to be great. Not everything's going to be the best thing I've ever seen, but I'm going to enjoy it because it's Star Wars.
Other than the holiday special, I can't there's nothing they've put out, even Last Jedi, where I'm like, it's horrific. It's so bad. Like Last Jedi I didn't like, but like I'll probably go watch the Obi-Wan series
Now,
again at some point.
I have one thing to say to you.
How dare you?
Because the holiday special is a national treasure. So just
The holiday special is in the same pit that the ET video game is buried in somewhere out in the desert. Okay, Lucas paid good money to bury that.
Well, thankfully the internet is a thing.
Yeah,
and
Oh yeah.
the holiday special.
Yeah,
It's,
watch our episode. Was that an episode or was that
I
like
was on.
just a video?
I think I was on when we did the holiday special.
Were you okay? Yeah, because we did a
Yes.
show, but then Dave and I also did a live watch once.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Where
yeah.
we pulled it up and we just watched the whole thing start to finish.
Do you
Yeah,
wanna- do you
we did
wanna-
an MST 3000 version of it.
Do you want to know when I said to Bert, like, I said, not that the PTSD of the Forest Moon of Endor campaign should be hard for you to project, being a combat veteran. I said, but, were you digging for that? When he goes, oh, that's real easy. I lived through the holiday special.
Oh yeah, I guess he was old enough to see it
He
when it
was
aired,
old
huh?
enough. Ask him for his story. Because he watched it when it came out, the night it came out.
Oh my god!
I could only imagine.
As a child who was like, I don't know, he must have been 10. So he's like old enough to understand what the hell is going on.
Right, because I mean,
man.
just think about it. Star Wars was what, a year and a half old at this point. It was like just this massive phenomenon, and finally you've got this new piece of content that's going out. Everybody's jazzed up. Oh, let's watch it, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. Bert's horrifying story is.
Oh God, remind me to ask him about it if
We'll go to the we'll go to the Sublight Lounge.
Have
We'll grab
some-
a few drinks.
talk about it over drinks.
You gotta get him loosened up a little bit. This is not something to go in cold with.
Right.
Gotta get him loosened up a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like if you're gonna uncork this bottle, you definitely want to have it lubed up a little bit.
Tell me about Endor. It's horrible. Now tell me about the holiday special. Leave the bottle.
We got bottle service here, right? Yeah.
So, and I think right now the plan is for you to come back on our next episode after we
Yeah,
get
I'd
back,
love to.
right?
I'd love to.
Monday the 8th, and then we'll kind of break down our whole experience.
Totally.
And also, I didn't really bring this up with you, but hopefully you're down for this. The Vision Season 2 comes out on May the 4th. Now, I don't know if you watched much of Vision Season 1. Well, you talked about the Ronin, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, I watched all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Vision Season 2 is coming out while we're in the Starfighter, or Starcruiser. So I figured we can also cover a few of those also that night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's-
just
that's
download
sort-
them and watch them on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's short, so it should be easy to get through.
I mean, because we'll have a day afterwards because we're going to Hollywood Studios because we're going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on the 5th.
Yeah, Universal Studios.
Your Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And go stay there for a night. Because I've seen those all come out on May 5th. So I've seen every one of those on my birthday.
So you got to keep tradition.
By the way, you're not a Marvel fan. Guardians of the Galaxy is worth it. And you don't
I've
need-
seen the first one.
Yeah.
Have I seen the second one?
Second one's not bad.
I think I've seen the second one.
It's worth it.
I don't mind Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a handful of
Yeah.
earmuffs crowd. There's a handful of the Marvels that like. I like the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like
That was good.
I enjoyed that. Guardians of the Galaxy I enjoyed. Like it's just I love the interaction of the characters in
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Honestly, it's just fun.
You can watch that. It's you know what? It's one of the reasons why I like Rogue One, because you can watch that movie and know nothing about everything else, and it's still entertaining
Yeah.
for you. And like I found Rogue One, I could sit down and show to anyone, and they're like, "Oh, this is a military caper movie. I got it." You know?
Yeah. No, and Guardians of the Galaxy, it does. It kind of operates independently of a lot of the other nonsense, and I can appreciate that. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to see these characters interact.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Green Blood, just nice to look at.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a very
Uhura.
attractive woman
She's Uhura to me.
Yeah, from Star Trek.
from Star Trek, which also the remake of that, the Spock, so well done.
Oh, I
Yeah, I thought the first two were
Yeah,
fantastic.
first two were good.
yeah.
The series too that they've done with Pike as the captain, it's pretty good. I mean,
I
the
haven't
characters,
watched
the
any
guy they have playing Spock in there is pretty good.
So that's a whole thing with me. I like the Star Trek shows, even Next Generation. Like it's just never something I watched. So, I mean, I'm a movie guy. I've seen and got to enjoy I feel like it's sacrilege almost as a Star Wars guy to say that, but no, I like the Star Trek movies. I when they come out, I'll watch and I'll enjoy them. Like, and I know enough about the characters. Like I can hang, but I'm not into watching the series. Like the Picard thing it sounds interesting to me. Like if I had time to sit down and watch a serial, I think I would. But
it's good. And you know what? It's one of those things where there's a lot of reachbacks to the next generation, but you probably don't have to be
you know what?
well versed in next generation, at least for season 1.
I would do season 1 and I would do season 3. You can almost skip season 2. Like you can get into season 3 and not have gone through 2 and you're pretty fine. I don't think there's a lot that carries over. But the end of Picard, season 3, it's a 10 out of 10 season finale. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I teared up,
Wow.
which takes a lot. I'm not a guy that like tears up in movies or TV shows, but that one did it for me.
and they put that in the theater, right? Wasn't that in the theater for a few days?
I don't know. Might have
They
been.
did, yeah,
Did they
but of
really?
course I wasn't caught up to
Nah.
that point, so it wasn't on the card for me. So
Yeah, maybe it might have had something to do with how just utterly disappointing season 2 was too. It was just- season 2 was like, I'm so angry right now.
yeah,
Like I'm so angry with you people.
Maybe it's contrast theory. You know, maybe it's just
right?
that. It's like, all right,
lower your expectations,
and
then
season 3 is going to be wham.
Nah, season 3 is like if you're a Next Generation fan and it has a place in your heart, everything you hoped would ever happen in a reunion, they did. It's like tastefully done. And to your point, the interaction of the characters is just great. You know, so like old characters, they're getting back together. You know, and it's like being with your best friend. All those inside jokes come back all of a sudden. You know, so you know, I mean, yeah, it's well done. Well done.
I have to squeeze it in somehow.
I do it.
That's what she said.
So, I mean, I know we had a lot more stuff here on the docket, but we are way over time. So, any last words, like Bob, on anything that we got planned for next week? I know we can break it all down too after we get back and really kind of get into it. But
Yeah, you can rub it in a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look how good this was, you fucker.
sorry, Dave.
Okay. I'll get there.
You will. You will.
Yeah, Kathy wants to get down there.
If your kids are into this, do it with them. It's special.
They're old.
So what?
Like they're doing their own things.
Yeah. So what?
You know what? I don't want to.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like really what it comes down to is like we're at a point where it's like, all right, let's just do stuff with us.
Good.
Like,
Then take Kathy.
like yeah, we're going to Hawaii. Like no
nice.
kids, and it's like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It's just it's at that point where it's like, okay, this is what you do this for, right? You go through all the stuff and you get the kids out the door, and all right, now you go out and like, all right, shit, we can just go out and do shit.
Yep.
So that's where we're at.
Got it.
I'll be looking forward to that. All right.
Well deserved.
Should I blast through the reads here real quick?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I know there's going to be a lot of fans that are in the chat here. They're going to be disappointed, but Hennifer is not going to be doing the reads this evening. I was going to have a prepared statement, but unfortunately she didn't give me one. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. Maybe something will come out on the socials, but in the meantime, I mean, Hank could read them. I mean, if he really wanted to. No, but before we get to that, I want to talk about the announcement.
Oh yeah.
So, August 12th?
You're asking me?
God damn it, Jason.
Was I supposed to remember?
Yes, you were. Hang on.
It's a very well managed announcement.
He didn't even know I was going to make it.
This was his thing. So
Yeah, you can't rely on me to do shit like this. Yes, August 12th, Saturday, August 12th. It's a Sidebar family celebration. That is going to be the day that we. All right, so here's what's going to happen. We're not doing a 300th thing just because of the timing. The 300th episode.
We're 8 weeks away
Yeah,
from our
300th
300th
episode is just the way it's going to fall. It's too soon to really get anything together. So we're gonna do a Sidebar family celebration in August. On August 12th, I've got a venue, and the plan is get our ATSW family. Let's get everybody in one spot and do kind of like a little not a con, because cons imply that there'll be vendors and stuff like that. Maybe we can get somebody in there. Maybe we get that guy from the Play It Again,
the toy store.
Yeah, come down, sell us some shit.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. But if we can get the our guys from the Escape Pod and Lunar Girl and DB, or DB would be there with the Escape Pod, but we get everybody in town to come out and see us. We're gonna do a live broadcast that Saturday. If you're one of our podcast partners and you come in town, and you could do a live broadcast too, and we can get it all set up. So I'm still in the planning stages of how I want that to look, but yeah, so that's going to be the day. Put it on your calendars. August 12th. Wally Frogmore, if you can fly in from fucking Australia, that would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing.
Yep.
I'll pay for your hotel room if you fly in from Australia. But he didn't tell his wife. No, I didn't. I didn't tell anybody. Like, Jason and I had this discussion, and that was it. I didn't even tell.
Don't rope me into this. You're the one who planned all this.
Like, I can't. I'm not paying for your plane ticket, Wally. Sorry. But anyway, yes, August 12th. That's what we're doing. The idea is to get the whole Sidebar Cantina family together. Do a couple of live streams. Do a show from there. Just kind of shit. It's been 6 years of doing this happy horse shit, and get all the characters in one spot and enjoy ourselves.
Indeed, enjoy yourself.
It'll be a celebration. So yeah, I'm the worst. I'm good at the planning bit. I'm not good at the announcing bit.
At least she popped in now and not when we were having the Lego conversation.
She could have very well have been listening, and I'm just going to get it when I get home.
I mean, the chances are pretty good.
Yeah, pretty high.
Yeah.
Chances are high.
Yep.
All right. So that's it. So we'll each week we'll be talking a little bit more about it and kind of pimping it out. If you have questions about it, just message us or message via Lunar Girl, but probably message me directly, just because I know Lunar Girl's got a lot going on. So yeah, message me directly.
Yes.
At PhillyDave75.
Don't message me.
Yeah.
I won't answer.
All right. Who wants to do the reads?
Well, I mean, you said Hank, right? It's been a while since we've heard Hank.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hank do the reads?
If you can get through it all. Make it fast, though. We're way over time.
We've been over time. We've been over time for about fucking 40 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. There's really not much here anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll do Hank just because and we got to explain to Bob afterwards like what the Hennifer thing is.
Oh yeah.
And what we spared him.
Yeah, we did it for your sake.
Yeah,
no Miss Lopez this week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, trusty. So for Sidebar headlines, just a reminder, there will be no live stream on Monday. Red 5 news. The Red 5 network has 29 active podcasts and 6 archive pods for a grand total of 35 podcasts.
I'm 37?
I don't know why you did that. Check out bio.link/Red5 to browse the lineup. There's something for everyone in the Red 5 network. bio.link/Red5. Nope, got nothing. Cantina Family Happenings on Tuesday. Used and Abused Pod will be celebrating their 45th anniversary. No. The 45th anniversary of the 1978 Superman film. Catch Scott, Kim, and Nicole at 2000, 8 p.m. on YouTube. 45. Jesus Christ on stilts.
Yeah.
Damn. It's a good movie, though.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack.
Yep.
John Williams.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Makes sense though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that guy's. Anyway.
Wednesday, ATSW, the Escape Pod will be doing Rebel Summer or some shit summer 23. Check out Don Brady and Dragon Buddy Wednesday on YouTube at 19:05, 7:05 Eastern. Or don't. Layman's Terms released failed CCGs last night. Please give him a sub on YouTube for your primary source of ignorance and drunken banter.
Do you remember Keith Lehman, Bob?
Why is that? Wait.
Yeah, he used to play Magic at Ron's all the time. He was a big commander guy.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's layman's terms. That's his.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, give him a sub. He's funny.
In fact, he actually invited me to play commander at his house tonight. And I'm like, ooh, we've got the pod going tonight. Sorry,
tough.
man.
You should have jumped into that thing.
Well, he's got people at his house.
Oh, what? So you put it on in the background?
I don't know. He might have it on in the background. I don't know.
Put it on. Put it on just a little bit. Sweet Studios is basking in the afterglow of his newest Foo Fighters cover, All My Life. Check out past releases of the quarantine sessions at Sweet Studios on YouTube and give him a follow on all social for updates. It's breaking apart, man. The Orange Fett Show did not release a new episode this week. Find them on Spotify. It's falling apart.
That's fine. It's getting late.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
You can find us. I'm changing.
That's
you can
fine.
find us at bio.link/Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, our audio podcast on Apple, Audible, Spotify, and all my social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Discord, and TikTok. You can also find all our Spotify music mixtape playlists. Also in our bio link is our TeePublic merch shop. We have our F Cancer and Jason Rose designs. Did you see that, by the way?
The pillow.
No.
Go take your headphones off right now and go look at that thing.
Is this what I
Just be careful.
I can't unsee that.
Yeah, I know.
What is that reading? It's like a train wreck.
Also at our bio link is the TeePublic merch shop. We have our F Cancer and Jason Rose designs, Super Sex Twi'lek, Sidebar Chick, our beloved Hennifer, our classic Sidebar Cantina logo.
Why?
That's Jason Rose.
Why would you do that? Why would you?
Two throwback designs from a Jedic's point of view. There are t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers, pins, wall art, magnets, notebooks, laptop cases, pillows, just about anything you can imagine. Make sure you tag us on the social show off that fine, sweet ass merch.
I went through my adult life with very little therapy. Why would you do that to me?
So it's
What kind of person are you?
it was one of those spontaneous things that happened on the show once. Dave was we have this listener from Australia, Wally Frogmore. He's a great artist, and somehow it came up.
No,
Dave said,
"No, Wally's not. That's unholy."
but yeah, Dave's like, "Oh, Wally, draw Jason like one of your French girls," referring to
Right.
the Titanic thing, and
Right.
he did.
And he
sent
did.
us. He sent us this drawing, and now it's on all of our merch.
Right. So he sent the drawing, and it's actually like very like it's on the like kind of yellowed paper, like it was. So and then I converted it, and then I put our logos on it, covering up his his nipple bits.
Yeah, he drew breasts on me.
I'm still.
Yeah.
All of that's wonderful detail. I'm still trying to get over the fact that this exists.
Yes, you can get that on a T-shirt.
Why would
Obviously
you
on a
want
pillow.
to? Why would you get? Why?
People buy these things.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
They do. I
No,
swear they
don't.
do.
Stop trying to justify.
No, I
this.
can prove it.
Yeah, we have the
Don't-
pictures.
Don't
Yes.
prove this. People have bought this.
Yes.
People have bought this picture.
Yes.
Who
On
paid money?
t-shirts.
Who
On
paid money
t-shirts.
for this picture?
We have some strange listeners out there.
Do you have a list? Because you need to give that list to the authorities.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what Jason does with that pillow. By the way.
I don't do anything with that pillow.
I beg to differ. I said that part. Any reviews?
No reviews.
Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Audible. Lunagirl wants to throw some swag at you. Don't have an Apple or Audible account? Our Facebook page has a review feature too. Just screenshot your review before you hit done. DM us a pic on Instagram or Twitter. This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on our show. Hennifer Lopez or Hank or Edith or Mama if it feels like it. Or somebody fun will read your review word for word on our next episode.
Wally Frogmore just said in the chat that he's been drinking out of a Jason Rose mug this whole time.
As you should. If you are listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays or Saturday or Tuesday or, whenever.
Typically Mondays.
Hopefully. The chat, it's way more organized on Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. And if you are new to Sidebar, please subscribe, ding that bell, select all to receive notifications when we go live. Remember to hit that like button. It really helps us out. And that is that at 3 hours and 9 minutes.
All right, very good.
And thank you to everyone in the chat for hanging in there. And I wish I could have kept up with everything, but you know what?
It's been a busy show.
Look, when we have a guest and we're engaged in conversation the whole time, and chat will take care of itself.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And it's
my pleasure.
your door's always open. You're always welcome to come out anytime. And
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, right.
But and we'll definitely see you back on Monday the 8th.
Yep.
Hopefully. We'll break down our trip, and I am so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Bitches.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the end of the show. So thank you again, everybody, for watching. Thank you to all of our audio listeners. We love you. And I guess until next time, Dave, Bob, and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Be with you.
Plank. Okay, now what do I click?
All right, and that is that. Whew.
Years.
It's been a while since we've gone that long.
Years.
That's what she said.
Yes, it is. All right, turning off the live stream.
Bye, everyone.
We love you guys.
Bye.